Welcome inside the Moncton Coliseum. It is game 2 of this first round National Basketball League of Canada playoff series between the two New Brunswick rivals. The visiting team, St. John Riptide, the home side, Moncton Magic. Moncton leading 1-0 in the series after taking yesterday's opener, 82-77. I'm Scott Squires along with my broadcast partner, Dave Tingley. And Dave, these teams came as advertised, the top two defensive teams in the league, and it was a defensive battle. At the end of the day, Moncton gets the close 5-point victory, 82-77. What do you look for some keys tonight?
Well, somebody's got to break the schneid defensively, offensively at some point, Scott, and it's going to be a matter of somebody's got to step it up and make more shots. For St. John, that's got to come from the bench. They can't expect. Malcolm Miller had a tough night last night. You know he's going to bounce back, but you also know that Ali Ahmed's not going to give you 21 and 9 on every single night. All respect to Ali, he's a good player, but that's asking a lot for him to carry the offense. And Merrick Isom stepped up last night, but they've got to get secondary scoring from someone on the bench. 50 bench minutes last night, a grand total of 2 points. That's got to sway. For Moncton at their end, they've got to just make some more. Somebody's got to step up and make some more shots. They just had offensive shooting night from the perimeter that was not very efficient. Somebody else, you got to figure at some point, a Caliste, an Allman, somebody's going to get streaky, and those shots are going to go down. And Anthony Anderson has got to play better too. He's got to step up and be that scorer that we know that the Magic can be. One of those things has got to shake loose, and the offense will shake loose for one of these teams.
Teams just about set to hit the floor, starting 5 for the Riptide. As you would expect, Horace Wormley, Jeremiah Morty, Mo Isom, Malcolm Miller, and Ali Ahmed. And for the home side, Moncton Magic wearing their home grays in this game. It is Brent Jennings, Corey Almond, Anthony Anderson, Terry Thomas, and Juan Patillo. Patillo, the player of the game last night. So Moncton trying to take a 2-0 series lead. The Riptide trying to even it up before they head back to Harbor Station in St. John for game 3. Moncton, as mentioned, wearing the home grays with the white and black trim going left to right on your screen, and the St. John Riptide looking sharp in those dark blue road unis with the gold and white. And we are just about set. It'll be Ahmed tipping off against Patillo. Welcome to game 2. It's the Battle of the 506, and we are underway. Jeremiah Morty gets that opening tip. Ahmed got it into his hands. Fans on their feet here at the Coliseum, and they will stay there until the Magic get their first bucket. But right now, it's the Riptide on offense. Here's Malcolm Miller. Goes off his foot. Saved at the line, or is it, as it just goes out as Horace Wormley goes heavily into the officials. And we should mention the officials for this game this evening. That's a nice segue into that. We've got Brent Stalker, Ryan Lutz, and Dan Patterson.
That's going to go right on the Brent Stalker blooper reel. Just unable to get out of the way.
So,
and a big something to look for here at the offensive end and defensive end for the Magic tonight is Brent Jennings getting his second straight start, and he's going to need big minutes with Marv Elway unavailable tonight, Scott, thanks to an accumulation of tees.
That's right. Here's Terry Thomas, top of the key, outside, and there it is. 3-ball for Terry, and the fans can snuggle in and get comfy in their seats.
That was in Malcolm Miller's eye. He gave him no space to get it off, and it didn't matter. Drano. And there he is at the defensive end.
Right onto the floor. Isom cradling that ball. Terry Thomas right there. And Thomas, I talked to him after last night's game about his defense, and he said, yeah, he says, it was working tonight, and that was an understatement. Terry Thomas and the entire Moncton Magic team had the clamps on defensively against St. John. 3-0 here early on, just underway from the Coliseum. Glad to have you with us wherever you're watching the broadcast. Certainly want to welcome in fans of the St. John Riptide as well. Taking in this game, there's Patillo underneath against 3 defenders, but no problem for big Juan Patillo, and he's got the ear-to-ear grin heading back up the floor.
Yeah, and some new action. Moncton's added a little different cut and look off that Corey Almond pin-down play they love to run.
There's Ahmed trying to pick up where he left off last night. Wasn't successful on that one. Nice save there by Anthony Anderson as it was going out of bounds, but Anthony saved it, and now it's Anthony with the ball. Kicks it out to Brent Jennings. Jennings through the lane, goes to the left hand, lay in no good. Rebounded quickly there by the Riptide, Horace Wormley.
Those are the bunnies that Jennings is going to have to put down. Got all the way to the rim, an easy shot for him.
There's Ahmed again. They're trying to get him going early. Nice move as he got around the defender. Gets his own rebound as Patillo kind of committed on the first move, and Ali Ahmed gets his own offensive rebound and gets his first 2 points.
Yeah, and you can't give up on the play. You got to get that second and third box out, stick him, because he's not going to give up, Ali Ahmed, on that end of the floor.
5-2 early on here. There's Corey Allman, spoke to him prior to the game, and he said playoff activation in terms of playoff mode for him, it's all about getting even more focused. Here's Corey, step back from about 14 feet, and he's got the old stank face going up the floor, shaking the head, saying, hey, get ready for me.
He's mean mugging. You're not going to stop him going to the left. He's so good going to the left that way. That's why they try to run those pin down plays on that side of the floor for him.
And it would appear early on here, I know we're only a couple of minutes in, but it really seems that the St. John Riptide are trying to establish some kind of interior game against the Moncton Magic.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't rely on that. I mean, they've got such a good perimeter game, but if you can establish the inside game early and work inside out.
And speaking of out, that was Warmly from outside. Shot rattles off the back of the iron, and the Magic will bring it back up the floor. They lead by 5 here early on. Anderson takes it himself, high off the glass. Patillo with the rebound, and a man possessed is Juan Patillo. He gets the offensive board and the 2.
He's such a monster in there. Just his pure athleticism. You're not going to stop him. You got to stick him, just like Ali Ahmed on this end of the floor. You got to give him a box out.
Coach Nelson.
That's a good reversal.
Coach Nelson Taroba up off his bench, getting information from the official as that call is reversed. He and Joe Salerno looking very dapper this evening on their respective sidelines in this game too. Both teams know the importance. In a 5-game series, a 1-1 is much better going home if you're the Riptide than it is going down 0-2. And there's Corey again. Corey has the stroke going early, and I mentioned just to finish the thought earlier, when he talked about playoff mode activated, that's a hashtag he uses on social media. He said it's just about being more focused and sharper. And there's Ali Ahmed looking sharp as he gets the little float shot in the lane.
And that is the bread and butter they keep going back to. Horace Wormley, Ali Ahmed on the screen roll, and they still haven't solved it. Early in game 2 have the Magic.
8:20 on the clock here in this first quarter. Just getting things going in this game too. We saw that battle last night, Patillo against Ahmed. Kick out though, here's Terry from the wing. Terry Thomas, the shooter, drains it. And right now, the Magic as a team looking pretty comfortable from the floor.
Double A with that such a good decision. Ball was in his hands for a millisecond, dropped it off to Terry for another 3.
Riptide now in their half court. Ahmed just a little step back there right in the face of Patillo. Shots no good, rebounded by Jennings. And here comes Double A, the all-time leading scorer in the National Basketball League of Canada. Such a veteran leader on this team. Didn't have the offensive night he had last night, but there's one thing we know about Double A. You never count him out.
But he has been on the schneid a little bit on the offensive end of the floor recently. He's not finishing this game, and he's not getting to the line as much. It seems like he's getting into that lane and doing a good job and distributing very well, as you just saw on the perimeter to Terry. But when he gets in that lane, it's not going down for him, and he's not getting those foul calls that he's used to.
Here's Patillo now, gets it over to Brent Jennings. He's got it on the high wing. Now it's Corey, being watched there by Jeremiah Morty. Patillo with the little screen. Corey puts the shot up. That one's no good. And flying in to get the rebound was Horace Wormley. Here comes Horace, wearing that number 4 in blue. On this near side, just in front of our broadcast position, is Horace. Ali Ahmed, little screen on Corey Allman. Ball kicked over to Isom. He shoves off Terry Thomas, gets it down to Ali in the low post. And Ali Ahmed again, shades of what we saw last night, 35 in blue, doing it again. Ali Ahmed with another deuce.
Yeah, and I can foresee the future here, going to Denzel Taylor here for the post to bother Ali Ahmed if he's going to keep controlling things like that.
There's Anthony, nice dump off there to Patillo in a crowd, spins around, and Mo Isom comes over to challenge him. And Juan Patillo going to go to the line and shoot 2.
And he wasn't happy with the baseline referee. Turned and gave him a little bit of a look there. Juan's got to keep things. He got a little bit testy there last night, but these guys, and we'll talk about the technical rules that got Marvell Waite suspended for this game. See, and he's still going at Ryan Lutz there down low, and he's got to cool down a little bit. He got the foul call. Just accept it and make the throws, and he made the first one, and he drains the second with that pretty release.
Got that high arcing shot, does Juan Patillo.
What you love to see those guys is the fire. He's got a little bit more fire for these 2 playoff games than he showed during that regular season. He's definitely emotionally more engaged.
Yeah, talk about playoff mode activated. Definitely is for 32 in gray, Juan Patillo. Here's Otieno now into the game for the Riptide. He goes down to the floor and turned it over. And very good intensity here from the Magic early on. Joe Salerno up off the bench. He's clapping his hands.
And it's a much cleaner game both ways too, Scott, here early.
It's a double-digit lead here with 6:30 to go in quarter number one. 16-6, home side leading. Magic looking to go up 2-0 in this best of five. Juan Patillo sees the chance from the baseline. He's a smooth jump shooter, but a little bit strong on that one, and Horace Wormley will bring it back up. Horace into the paint. Now he'll step around. Gets it down low there for Ahmed. Patillo right in his pocket. Ahmed looking for somewhere to go. Trying to spin with it. Goes up against Patillo. Little step back floater. And that comes right over to our broadcast position, just off my fingertips.
Better hands. Come on, you got hands like feet there, Scott. Come on. Get after it. Get on the floor.
I'm going to work on that. Maybe I'll have to spend some time with the team after the game. Work on my hand. Maybe Al Stewart can get me some.
It's the hustle play. It's all about the hustle plays, Scott. Can't keep you on the floor if you're not going to make the hustle plays.
5:53 left in this first quarter.
There it is again.
Here's Corey. He's been comfortable. Little step back, 12 feet. Corey Almond again.
Corey going left.
He is. He's racked. He hasn't brought the phone out yet. He's just making the calls he's making right now. He can use 2 cans and a string.
He's told the bench 3-4 times now, he can't guard me. Speaking of Jeremiah Morty.
Corey feeling the stroke early on here. Here's Horace Wormley trying to get something going offensively for the Riptide. Quick zip pass inside. Ahmed kicks it right back outside to Morty, and Jeremiah Morty hits the tray. A much-needed bucket there for the Riptide.
And Corey and Jerry got into it a little bit last night on the foul line. We remember that was very entertaining. They're back and forth, and they're going at it again.
Lots of intensity between these two provincial rivals. They don't call it the Battle of the 506 for nothing. It comes by the moniker, honestly, and there's Brent Jennings off the front of the rim, back of the rim, but no good. And it's rebounded by Ali Ahmed. Horace Wormley back up the other way now. Riptide trailing by 9. Horace inside to Ahmed, tried to float it in there. Statue of Liberty type of look as he floated through the paint.
And last night, Scott, we saw some wholesale substitutions really early. There were a lot of guys rotating in and out. It's interesting how this game has worked so differently. These are our first substitutions over 7 minutes into the first quarter here.
So we've got a technical media timeout with 4:46 to go. And just to finish your thought, fans may be wondering, into the playoffs, Marvell Waith, who got the technical foul last night, why he is suspended. We actually had a chance to talk to Joe Salerno about that. So maybe if you could just break it down for fans exactly how that situation broke down and what the rule is with technicals in the playoffs.
Yeah, so if you get 6 technicals during the regular season, then you get a suspension. So Marvell Waith got his 6th in the last game of the season against Halifax, and the regular season game down here against St. John, and the league gave the Magic a choice. They said to him, okay, we can suspend him for that first playoff game, or the rule for the playoffs, we're going to change for a hit in that situation where his first technical in the playoffs, he gets automatically suspended. Normally, it's 2 additional technicals in the playoffs. You have to sit out a game. So they knew he was in that position. They knew he had to avoid the tee, and unfortunately, he got it the first game. So he's not even in the building tonight, Scott.
Yeah, so again, Coach Joe Salerno on the Moncton Magic decided to take the option of having that technical in the final game of the regular season carry over to the playoffs. So basically, Marvell came into last night's first playoff game with 1 technical foul. He got the second last night, so that's why he's not in the building, not in the game. But again, overall, the general rule is at the start of the playoffs, everybody resets and they have 2 technicals before they get suspended. But that's just a little clarification on why Marvell isn't in the game and on the floor.
And we talked about it being a clean start for the Moncton Magic. Unlike last night, it was very, very messy. And the clean start involves a 7 for 13 shooting performance so far, 2 for 4 from the 3-point line, 2 for 2 from the line, and no turnovers so far. And St. John doing a better job taking care of the ball than they did last night early, but they've accumulated 3, and they're only 4 for 11 from the field. So not as clean a start for St. John, but a 9-point lead, as we've seen against St. John, is nothing to get excited about.
No, I mean, St. John was down big last night by as many as 23 at one point, and it ended up coming down to literally it was a 1 or 2 possession game in the final couple of minutes. So just because this Riptide team can get down by double digits early, certainly you do not want to count this team out. They are scrappy, they are gritty, and they are a good team, and they're well coached by Coach Nelson Taroba.
Yeah, and they're going to get stops at some point, and Ali Ahmed doing the job in the line, picking up where he left off last night there, and Taekwon Gord coming in.
Yeah, Gord, good to see him. He went down and looked to perhaps have a bit of an injury last night, but he was up, played later on in that game, and nice to see him in the lineup here tonight. Thomas, baseline. Terry couldn't get that shot to drop. Horace Wormley grabs that rebound, and he'll bring it up again. Little stutter step over half court. Corey Almond out on Horace, gets it over to Mo Isom. This is Otieno now. Kenny steps around the little screen, dribble penetration into the paint. Tried to get it back outside, but Anthony Anderson is there. He's 2-on-2 with Corey Almond, and Anthony will just slow it down and wait for the rest of his teammates to catch up. 4:13 left to go, quarter one. Anthony takes it strong in, and that's the penetration. And Anthony trying to draw the foul, as you said.
And Taekwon Gord stepped in and took it on the numbers. So one thing they're really doing is a good job on against Anthony is packing in. They know what he wants. They know what he wants to do. He wants to get in that lane and create, and they're ready for him.
So the foul on Anthony on the charge. That's his first. Riptide back on offense. Malcolm Miller all the way on this near side for Otieno. Tried to bounce it inside to Gord. Almost lost the handle. Malcolm Miller has the ball in his hands once again. Out up high. Good ball movement into the corner. Wide open for the shot was Wormley. Couldn't hit it though. And it goes off of Jeremy Williams, not a bounds. Great ball movement there. Everybody getting a touch. Wormley was wide open for the shot, Dave. Just couldn't get the range.
And Wormley is deadly from out there. Only 39% from the season, but he was over 50 last year, and he started off very cold through 10 or 12, 15 games this year, and he brought it way back up to 39.
Outside, Malcolm Miller. He's good from out there when he wants to be. Just couldn't get that one to go.
He's not gotten his game off so far through almost 5 quarters of this series.
Terry Thomas. Kick out there to Anthony. Down into the corner for Jeremy Williams for 3. Off the front of the rim, rebounded by Otieno, and the Riptide will bring it up the floor. 3:23 left to go. 18-11 is your score. Magic have led from the outset.
And if I'm the Magic, I'm asking myself why Corey Allman hasn't touched the ball the last couple of possessions, and they've settled. And the guy's hot. Feed it to him.
Mo Isom being D'd up there by Jeremy Williams. Williams try to push him to the outside. Taekwon Gord, and they run out of time. Gord had the ball, maybe had a chance to drive it in. I don't think he knew how much time was left. Obviously he didn't, as he kicked the ball over to the corner and the shot clock expired.
If you're going to rely on Taekwon Gord to create shots for you late in the shot clock, you're going to struggle. That's not his game. And Jeremy J. Will did a great job shutting down Isom, not giving him any daylight for the last 7 seconds of that clock. And here comes Al Stewart.
Al Stewart into the game now. Mr. 2 times, Al Stewart. Terry Thomas on that far wing. Under 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Bounce pass, and it's a long one over to the near side. Jeremy Williams right in front of that Riptide bench. Penetrates into the paint, then dumps it off to Al Stewart. Right back to Terry, 1 on the shot clock. Terry puts it up, and at the shot clock buzzer, Terry with the 3.
Always at the big moments, Terry just seems to get it done. Late in the shot clock.
Back to a double-digit advantage now, 21-11 for the Moncton Magic. Here's Wormley. Al Stewart there. Gord, a little bit of a screen. Wormley steps into the middle, right through 3 defenders, tried to scoop it underneath, and it goes out of bounds. And
I'm telling you, that pick-and-roll defense combination, I don't care who it is running the show, going against Al and Denzel Taylor is a tough proposition.
Otieno out of the game. Aaron Redpath onto the floor now. He wears 12 in blue for the Riptide. Wormley, 7 seconds on the shot clock. Malcolm Miller, corner 3, and Malcolm Miller, that's his business right there.
Yeah.
That shot, 33, hits the 3.
It's only a matter of time. You give him enough opportunities, he's going to start knocking them down, and just a little too much daylight.
Terry Thomas bounces it over to Al Stewart. He's up high. Takes a step now, gives it off to Terry Thomas. Wormley out on him. Definitely a size mismatch there. Terry nowhere to go, gives it off to Jeremy Williams. Jeremy dribble penetration, goes to the left hand, gets the runner to go, and the bucket, you can count it, and send him to the line.
What a pretty move by Jeremy. Getting into the guy with the right, Euro step left, teardrop left hand finish. Degree of difficulty high on that one, Scott.
9.5 from the Russian judge on that one. Jason Kalist into the game. Corey Allman to the bench, 1 3-point shooter, substituting for another. Marvin Binney onto the floor. Horace Wormley will take a breather for the Riptide. Jeremy Williams to the line with 1:48 left in the first quarter. Jeremy can't complete the 3-point play. It is a 9-point advantage right now for the Magic, 23-14. Jason Caliste blowing on the hands. He's got the long sleeve look going here tonight. Maybe Jason a bit chilly in the Coliseum here, Dave.
Let's look at that. Look at that uni. A good new uni.
He does. He's got
brand spanking new.
He's got an actual name bar on the back of his jersey here tonight. For fans that don't know what we're talking about, last night he got a bit of a blood stain on his game jersey. Had to go get another one. He put a number 0 jersey on, and he had to put his homemade nameplate on the back. It was surgical tape with Sharpie Caliste written on the back. It was quite a sight to see.
Wow, and that is great defense again by, a broken record because I'm the president of the Denzel Taylor fan club and I'm proud to admit it, but that was just unbelievable by Denzel again, and Aaron Redpath lucky to get away with not a push-off there.
Riptide will inbound the ball with 12 on the shot clock. All kinds of movement underneath. Malcolm Miller gets it, spins around baseline. Tough looking shot, but Malcolm Miller found a way.
The Kareem sky hook from under the hoop. Tough finish. And pretty pass.
Tried to feed Williams inside. Did Taylor. Was up a little bit high. Jeremy couldn't quite corral it. Turns it over. Here's Binney.
Jeremy will tell you should have caught that one. That was a beautiful look.
Binney steps in against 2 defenders. Al Stewart was there hounding him, and here comes Terry. Terry, head down, ball up into the hands of Al Stewart. Makes a move in the paint, swatted away. Jason Caliste now, 15 seconds on the shot clock. Jason will just slow it down. Caliste calling out the offense. He dumps it off, and he'll make a move inside. Denzel Taylor to Thomas. Jeremiah Morty out watching him. And they're going to call a foul away from the play, so that'll turn the ball over to the Riptide with 49.7 left in the quarter.
Extends the Denzel's league lead and offensive fouls on screens. The man gets at least 1-2 a game, but he's so aggressive. That's such a good screen. You take 1 or 2 of those every now and then just because of how good a job he does freeing up these Magic shooters.
So 45 seconds left to go here in this quarter. It's a 24-16 lead. Magic have led the entire way here from the start. Malcolm Miller. Gord with a big screen there. Miller steps in, and Miller starting to heat up, and the Magic are going to want to keep an eye on that. Miller has been a big thorn in the side of the Magic all season.
That is 2 really tough finishes over Denzel Taylor. Denzel gave him very little room, and he had to finish high off the glass. It was his only choice, and he did it.
A great option for the Riptide to have offensively if they can get Malcolm Miller going. Al Stewart tries to drive into the lane, as we've seen him so often do. That didn't work. Back the other way, Jeremiah Morty. Football pass into the corner for Binney. And like a defensive back, Terry Thomas stepped into the middle and picked it off, and the quarter comes to an end. A pretty good one for the Moncton Magic. They put 24 on the board, and they lead 24-18 over the Riptide after 12 minutes.
Some missed shots late, and this could have been, if you're a St. John Riptide fan, you're thinking that could have been a lot worse. 7 turnovers, 10-0 points off turnovers in that first quarter. But they got, again, just as they do, they're going to be stretches where St. John puts the clamps on you, and you have a tough time scoring 2, 3, 4, 5 straight possessions down the floor. And it's just what they do. They kind of scrap and battle and keep it close, and they've done so. Just a 6-point deficit here after 1.
Leading scorer for the Riptide in that quarter, Ali Ahmed with 8. Right behind with a late push, Malcolm Miller. He's got 7. And for the Moncton Magic, the usual suspect leading the way with points, Terry Thomas with 9. Almond and Patillo with 6 apiece for the Moncton Magic.
And they did something different with Corey in that first quarter. Last night he was a little bit bottled up, and I give him credit for getting loose for as many open 3-pointers as he did. He took advantage of any opportunity he got. Jeremiah Morty has their strategy with Corey is bottle him up on that side of the floor, deny him the ball at all costs, and they've kind of put a little wrinkle in. Instead of turning him out at the 3-point line, they've made it a little bit narrower, and he's coming across the key a little bit inside that line. Nothing wrong with Corey making those step-back jumpers inside the line because he's got that right to left movement going. He feels good when he's moving that way, and he's knocked down 3 here early. We see how much they keep going to that, do the Magic.
Just want to give a shout out to the Moncton Hawks. They were the young men that were out with the Moncton Magic during the pregame introductions. And Coach Brennan Belmare and Brian Crosby have the Moncton Hawks U11 Tier 1 team in attendance here tonight. So great to see some of the minor basketball players here supporting the Magic. Great for them to be able to come out and experience pro basketball, Dave.
Yeah, and nice to see their coach, Brian Crosby, manage to make it out after a tough, hard-fought Masters League final last night. I don't want to air dirty laundry, but apparently Brian took a tee last night. I didn't know he could string enough words together to get himself a tee. The mild-mannered, quiet, sweet guy that Brian Crosby is, but shocker of shocker. I'm sorry I'm airing dirty laundry on you here, Brian.
Dave, the way that you chirp your friends on these broadcasts, you're going to be a lonely guy like me after a while.
I have not even yet begun to fight.
It is good to see those guys in the building, though, wearing their bright yellow Moncton Hawks shirts with their names on the back, so that's great to see. We're glad to have them here, and we're glad to have you here wherever you're watching this broadcast, either via TV1 on Bella Line for 5 subscribers in Atlantic, Canada, or certainly via the live stream at monctonmagic.ca. We are glad to have you here, taking in Game 2 of this series, and underneath the battle, Denzel Taylor and Ali Ahmed, and Taylor can't believe it, and neither can Coach Joe Salerno, as Taylor, away from the ball, gets the call, and that's his second foul.
Yeah, and that's tough. That's 2 guys battling on a cut and picking out one of them for a foul. That's rough, but that's 2 on Denzel. That's a big call.
So Joe Salerno still talking it over with the official. Meantime, St. John get the ball, they'll inbound it, get knocked out of play. So there'll be 14 seconds left on the shot clock. We're just underway here in the second quarter. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley, and our Moncton Magic TV crew. Game 2 on a Monday evening. What day is it, Dave? I've lost track of time. A Monday evening at the Coliseum.
You just go province to province, call them. Doesn't even matter what the day is. You're in some province calling a sporting event.
That's right. It's game day. And that shot by Ahmed goes over top of the basket, much to the delight of Joe Salerno. So Anthony Anderson on the offensive side now for the Magic. Little kick out to Al Stewart. Dumps it to Caliste. Zips it over to Anderson. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Anthony uses Jeremy as a screen, then gets it back to Jeremy. That's his spot. And Jay Will with a triple thrill.
Jay Will from the top of the key. He lives there. He loves it. Stepping into it. And a good delivery from it, double A.
He is definitely comfortable out there, and comfortable as Al Stewart on the defensive side. Almost stripped the ball away. Malcolm Miller now gives it off to Morty. 5 seconds on the shot clock. They're running out of time again.
And a travel on Vinny.
That's a couple of times now we've seen the Riptide almost get into panic mode with the shot clock winding down.
Yep, and more steps, and that's you hear the footsteps from a guy like 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Al Stewart, and you get a little nervous, and he had some happy feet, but as you look at it here, Scott, first under 11 minutes, in the second quarter here, and 3 guys have scored for St. John. So we talked about them getting a little more balance and scoring from the bench. Hasn't happened as of yet.
Caliste being worked on by Redpath. Redpath aggressive defense. Caliste tried to feed it, and going into the crowd there at the baseline is Jeremy Williams.
Yeah, and a great job there by Redpath cutting it off. I talked about him as maybe a guy to watch for the Riptide today. Thinking more on the offensive end of the floor. He's such a good shooter if he gets a guy that can knock it down.
And there is Redpath from the corner. Speaking of knocking it down, Dave, he knocks that one down.
What a nice guy doing me a favor. As if on cue, making me look smart. Thank you, Aaron.
So, Riptide back to within 6, 27-21 as we reach 2 minutes played in this second quarter. Caliste being watched by Redpath. Williams with the little screen, gets it back again. Jeremy, dribble penetration this time. Puts it up, no good. Gathering up the rebound is Morty. Williams reaching in from behind. Jeremy got his arm interlocked with Jeremy Morty there for a minute. And Jeremiah active in the paint.
Call.
And that call is going to go on Jeremy Williams.
That's a tough call. That's a guy taking it on the numbers. And him backing up, giving ground. And a guy throwing up a tough shot and getting bailed out. Tough to see. So that's foul on that situation. I'd like to see a replay on that.
That's the first foul on Jeremy. He heads to the bench, checking into the game. Brent Jennings.
Coach Salerno's point's a good one. It's a very similar play to the last time down the floor. Jeremy Williams driving to the basket. And I thought the St. John Riptide player did a very good job giving ground, and Jeremy just didn't finish. And that seemed to be the same situation down here, but Morty got the call.
Morty first trip to the line, misses both. He'll stay with 3 points so far on the night.
He's had a tough start. He's had a tough start to his series as well on the offensive end of the floor, as has Jerry Morty.
9:35 on the clock here in this second half. Anthony Anderson goes behind the back, steps into a three and hits it. That's what we need from Anthony Anderson, says the crowd.
That's a big one. That's a big one. If he gets going at all, if he gets that shot falling, look out.
15 on the shot clock here as the Riptide work it in their offensive half court. Ahmed backing it into the paint, going up against Denzel Taylor off the glass, and look at Al Stewart go up above everybody to get the defensive rebound.
It's playoff time, body be damned, says Al Stewart.
9-point lead for the Magic. Jennings to Stewart, now Anthony Anderson on the wing, now it's back up high for Al Stewart. 7 seconds on the shot clock, Al into the corner, off to the wing for Caliste, and Caliste is Cathreese.
The Jays dance for jumper. It's such an easy play when you got a good screener like Denzel. Al curled around him and made a great decision right in the pocket for Caliste.
Redpath tries to penetrate through. There's that defense again. Underhand lob pass up ahead. Al couldn't get to it, and Binney grabs it right back. Binney into the paint, and again hands there. And Anthony Anderson, hands clenched above his head, eyes to the sky. Can't believe the call.
St. John is playing with fire when they go in, dribble in carelessly, holding that ball out against these guys. And you talk about Terry Thomas, you talk about Al Stewart, Caliste, Allman, Double A. The hands that these guys have in there, it's dangerous.
Juan Patillo back into the game now for the Moncton Magic, as is Horace Wormley. Wormley has the ball now. Al Stewart will be out on him. Morty open for the shot, and Jeremiah Morty money from three.
Now that's two. If he can get that shot falling from three-point range, that's two now. That's going to make a big difference. Somebody's got to step up and make those shots for St. John.
Patillo, top of the key. Ahmed keeps a close eye. Al backs away. Wormley watches him. And Wormley goes in behind and reaches in on Al and commits the foul.
And luckily for him he did, because that was going to be a thunder dunk for Mr. Patillo.
33-24. It's the Moncton Magic leading. They've led so far from the beginning. 8 minutes to go here in the half. 14 seconds on the shot clock for the Magic. Jason Caliste inbound. Juan Patillo comes over to take that inbounds pass. Juan puts it into the hands of Al Stewart now. Over to Caliste. Redpath was there defensively, and Caliste able to catch up to it.
Really physical on that screen.
Aaron Redpath definitely playing a tough physical game here. Now Stewart, long, lean shot, and he leaned well over to his right and had the right hand extended well out past his body. Tough shot, and it goes.
Super tough finish over a guy, Ali Ahmed. You got to get over his hands, but also the hair.
And Morty again for three. So answering right back are the Riptide. And as we saw last night, the Riptide, they just will not go away. They're like a cockroach in a blast. Hard to kill them. Here comes Jennings now. Baseline, steps into the shot. He'll go to the line to shoot too. So good aggressive move there by Brent Jennings.
Yeah, and BJ's got to get his offensive game off a little bit to justify his minutes. He's playing hard. He's on the glass, and he's always been a tough defender and continue to be. But he's got to get that offensive game. Somebody like him, Jeremy Williams, one of these guys at the position that Marvell Waite would normally spell them at. They got to give him some offense at some point in this game to maintain this comfortable lead.
That's the first points for Jennings as he hits the first free throw. Looks to go 2 for 2 on this trip. Malcolm Miller getting ready to come back into the game for the Riptide, and on the strength of his 3 3-pointers, Jeremiah Morty now tied for a game high with 9 points. He's got 9 for the Riptide. Terry Thomas with 9 for the Magic. But right now, keep an eye on Morty if you're the Magic. He's 3 for 3 from outside the arc.
And Miller, too. He's starting to get his game off as well. 3 for 4 in his minutes, and he's back in.
Here's Ahmed. Carried the load offensively last night, getting some help tonight for the Riptide. Here's one of the guys that's given the help. Morty, no good on that one. Jennings, strong defensive rebound, and Magic back up the floor.
And it looked like Al Stewart got a little hand on that ball as Jeremiah Morty was bringing it up.
Jennings, southpaw, too strong off the rim. Redpath with the rebound. Redpath has played a very aggressive style here, and it's been lifting the Riptide, certainly on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, he's one of those guys. They got a bunch of them. He just comes in and plays hard defensively, and he's going to make some shots, like he knocked a corner 3 down. That'll help a lot.
That ball thrown out of bounds right into the fan sitting along the far sideline. So it'll be turned over to the Moncton Magic. 10 points is your lead. Magic 37, Riptide 27, 6:39 to go here.
We got Almond in for Al Stewart, so AA is going to play the 1. And you got 2 shooters now on the wing in Caliste and Almond for St. John to worry about. A little spacing here for the Magic.
Down low to Patillo. There's that familiar matchup. Ahmed on Patillo. Juan lowers the shoulder, pushes Ali off, and Juan manhandle Ahmed on that position and gets the easy off glass and in.
It's just too easy. If he uses his strength and uses that footwork, it's too easy for him almost.
Malcolm Miller penetrates into the paint, and a nice floater there from Malcolm Miller. The team's now exchanging baskets.
And that's tough. I mean, you can't do a much better job than Brent Jennings did. He kept him in front of him. Just it's tough, a tough finish.
Here's Juan again underneath 2 defenders, and Nelson Taroba, the coach of the Riptide, did a little Irish jig there on the sideline when that call was made.
And that's a tough call, and I see what Taroba's point is. Referee Danny Patterson was really blocked from where the ball was positioned on that play. Juan Patillo's back was to him, and he still got the call, so I can see where Coach Taroba would have no, maybe not with the foul call, but so much the referee that was calling it.
So 5:54 media timeout here in this second quarter, 39-29. Moncton Magic leading. And speaking of Coach Nelson Taroba, we had a chance to chat with him prior to the game yesterday, and I saw that he put a nice thank you on Twitter today, but he gave you a compliment on the article that you wrote, and he said, listen, he said, I appreciate good writing. He said, I'm a journalism major, so kudos to you, Dave.
Well, that was a very nice thing, and he's a very nice guy, and he's a very good coach. I've been very complimentary of him all year, and I'll just be more complimentary now that he says nice things about me. But no, he's done a terrific job, and he took some heat for the way the year went early, especially after and look, Anthony Stover was a fan favorite in St. John, a defensive player of the year there and stuff, and he didn't mesh with it. It wasn't a personality thing or a man-on-man thing. It was purely a basketball thing. He just didn't fit the style that Coach Taroba played, and he ended up departing there and going up to Niagara for a while and then back to St. John's.
Just to kind of impound that thought, not dissimilar to the Ali Ahmed situation down at Cape Breton.
Yeah, very good. It's a very good point. Yeah, it's an excellent parallel because Ali left down there and came to Coach Taroba and was a much better fit. Stover just wasn't as good a fit in it, the way he runs his offense and his defense. And sometimes that happens, and you make a trade that benefits everybody. And Stover is playing minutes now with the Edge in St. John, and actually put in some good minutes. He's been tough for him. He's been running around the league a little bit this year trying to find a good fit. But it's tough to get comfortable where you are. Just ask Juan Patillo the way we did last night. A new team and adjusting, and sometimes it takes time. So it's worked out well for everybody. And I think, and look, he's maintained the #1 defense in the league despite losing a great defender like Stover. So speaks to his system and how he communicates.
So just getting ready to come out of the timeout. Right now, Coach Joe Salerno speaking to Dan Patterson, one of the officials. Moncton Magic already back onto the floor. Riptide still in their timeout with Coach Taroba. Now it breaks up.
And we can be a little more. We can use this time to compliment Coach Salerno on his job too. Sometimes you get into a position where you're a favorite in the league, and then you have ups and downs during the season. You can go, well, you don't get notice for the coaching job you're doing. I think Coach has done a tremendous job here, and with incorporating guys, and he made a very wise decision halfway through the year, completely shuffling up his lineup and asking guys to do things that maybe they weren't comfortable with, and they walked in and did a good job. So I think both of these, there's not a mismatch in coaching here. These guys are both terrific.
Well, again, Coach Joe Salerno, an excellent coach, and again, the winningest coach in the NBL, certainly worth mentioning. He is where he is for a reason, and there's a reason for the Riptide to be happy as that triple goes down from outside.
And again, a name that you weren't going to be expected to give points. This is what the Riptide need off this bench. Guys like Otieno knocking in shots.
Patillo, who moments ago missed the 2 free throws, goes in strong again. He's going to get the bucket, and he's going to go to the line. And Juan Patillo, this is the most I've seen that young man smile since he's joined the team. I think, Dave, he finally feels really comfortable.
He does. He's animated. It's playoff time. This is when we get going, and he's loving life right now, and he's just abusing Ali Ahmed down there. And Ali Ahmed gave him way too much space there. He caught the ball a step outside the key, and Ahmed was 5 feet off him and tried to close out, but too late. Just one dribble and finish.
And Patillo gets the Coliseum bounce off the rim, completes the 3-point play. Lead back up to 10 for the Moncton Magic. 5:17 to go in the half, 42-32. Moncton leading here in game 2, leading the series 1-0. And there from the corner is Bowdry, seeing his first action. 21 in blue is Brandon Bowdry for the Riptide. There's that little giddy-up step from Anthony Anderson as he brings the ball up the floor. Over onto the wing, Corey now brings it back up high. Allman being worked on there by Bowdry and loses the handle and throws it out of bounds.
And Bowdry's another guy that they like. He doesn't play massive minutes, and doesn't have huge scoring numbers, but he fits in well with what they do. He's a tough guy. He's long and he's lean, and he can play solid defense and make a shot.
Here's a guy who can make a shot, and he's made a few of them, Morty, but he dumps it off to the wing. Otieno trying to get a bucket again. It hung up there for a second, but no good. Rebounded by the Magic. Double A. Lobs it up for Patillo, and he tried to jam it down. Just couldn't get the fingers on it. But that would have been exciting, and it would have taken the lid off of the Coliseum.
His misses are exciting, aren't they?
Anthony Anderson shots no good. They sure are. For a man that big, his athleticism is mind-boggling.
They're playing 4-on-5 here. Brent Jennings is matched up with Ali Ahmed. He's begging for it.
And they throw it away. They're going to say it went off the fingertips of a Magic player.
That's a good call. I do believe that Terry tipped it.
Taquane Gord comes back into the contest. And a timeout being called now, I believe. We're not sure if it's a timeout. It is a timeout, so Coach Nelson Taroba wants to call time, talk it over with 4:09 to go. 10-point advantage for the Moncton Magic here, late stages of this second quarter. But Dave, Moncton has played another good game, and not dissimilar to the way they played last night, but I think if you're a Riptide fan, you got to feel a little better, because in my opinion, I think St. John has played just a little better and is certainly in a better position at this point of the game than they were last night.
Well, they've got a couple threes to fall. They're 6 for 9 from three-point range so far. That's really what's keeping them in contact. They managed to get those shots to go, but despite 10 turnovers, they're still turning the ball over at a high rate. But if they can bring that in a little bit and keep the points off turnovers a little bit more respectable, then that's really going to be a key here, because if the shots are going to go down and they can narrow down those turnovers, it's really going to give Moncton less easy chances. And they've really done a better job here in the second quarter. And Moncton's kind of stalled a little bit. Just feels like they haven't reached that peak mode where they're kind of running on all cylinders just yet.
So with 4:09 left to go in this half, right now the Moncton Magic even up, shooting 50%, 15 of 30 from the field, and that's 6 of 11 for 3 points in that one. So they're shooting 54.5% from outside the arc. The St. John Riptide just over 46% from the floor, 12 of 26, and they're shooting a little better percentage from outside the 3-point line, 6 of 9 for 66.7%. Leading scorer for the Riptide, Jeremiah Morty and Malcolm Miller, both tied with 9 points, and Juan Patillo now a game high 11 for the Moncton Magic.
And Riptide are making do without Murray Geisam, who had a great game last night, who had 3 fouls early and hasn't seen the floor again. We probably won't see him until some point in the third quarter. So good job by the Riptide too. They know they're getting Isom back in the third, so if they can keep this in single digits to the half, that'd be a big accomplishment for them.
Bowdry, dribble penetration, goes to his right. Kind of got hindered there. Shot clock expired. Jennings rebounds it. And a quick outlet in transition. It's the Magic. Anderson got it to Allman. Back to Anderson. Now on the far wing. Thomas gets it back to Anthony Anderson. Anthony calls out the offense. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now it's Brent Jennings. Corey, he's comfortable from 8 feet, and he hits from there. Corey Allman again. Wide open, Dave.
That is too easy. That's going to go down 95% of the time. And he looked around, almost holding his hands up to the palms up to the ceiling, like, what? You're going to give me that?
Corey Allman, typically deadly from outside the arc, but he's been an interior shooter here tonight. Everything from 12, 14 feet, 8 feet, but he's been good. From the corner, that shot is good. It's a 3-ball. Again, the Riptide riding the back of the 3-point shot to keep it close.
And it's guys you're not expecting. It's Otieno stepping up and making a couple threes here. That's bonus for the Riptide.
Kenny Otieno, by way of Nairobi, Kenya, playing his basketball for St. John, attended the University of Alberta, the Golden Bear with another 3, and Jennings trying to be golden as he floats in, and he seemed to hang in the air for a 2 or 3 count, just floated the ball up, got the foul, and he'll go to the line, but that's as pretty as you'll see right there from Brent Jennings.
Number 1 in the program and number 1 in your hearts after that finish. That was gorgeous. Held it out there with that long left arm and got the kiss off the glass. We talk about that's a couple of degree of difficulty ones that we've seen tonight. Acrobatic by the Magic in the lane.
Well, I think if we confer with the Russian judge, we'd be inclined to give a 10 on that one for the effort, the glide, and the finish. Jennings completes the 3-point play, and you know, it's interesting, following Brent all year long, he really was working with Rehab 1, working on getting some spring back in his step, getting some more jump, if you will. And the last 2 games we've seen him play, Dave, he's got way more hops than he had in the early part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he hung in the air for a long time on that.
Kick out, down into the baseline there. Here's Gord. That's a pretty shot from 12 feet on the baseline for Taekwon Gord.
That's another bonus. You don't get him knocking down a lot of perimeter shots, but...
Here's Jennings outside for 3. Couldn't get it there, front of the rim. Rebounded, though, went all the way out to Thomas. And Patillo had the ball, and Gord slapped it away from him.
And again, playing with the ball out there like that, you got to put it away. And if you find yourself needing to play with it like that, you should be getting rid of it against these 2 teams. Great hands all the way around. You're not going to be able to hold on to the ball. They're lucky on that one that Taekwon got the call.
So I believe Coach Joe Salerno has called time now. And I don't know if it's by design or what it is, but it would seem to me, I think if there was a statistic on it, the majority of Coach Salerno's timeouts tend to be right around the 2:20, 2:15 mark of a quarter.
You are way more observant than me then, because I had not, that was not in my game notes. So let's get...
Again, I don't know if it's just by design or if it's just the flow of the game, but more often than not, late in a quarter, I'll see Coach Salerno call the time, and when I glance up, I'm typically seeing a 2:15, a 2:17, a 2:20.
So people out there from NBL Canada, I know we've got a top-notch stats team. I expect stats on that after the halftime break on timeouts called by Coach Salerno. I expect that to happen. So tweet me. I'm Hoops Tingley. We got Scott_FFM for Firm Foundation Media. So tweet us. Let us know what the stats on that are. Get on YouTube. Come on, let's go.
Oh, goodness, Dave. Analytics, I'm a big numerology guy.
Yeah, you are.
I notice these kinds of things.
Can we mention the referees are alike, too? Danny Patterson with the terrible pass on the inbounds there to his partner, Ryan Lutz. But I love the refs. They leave the ball over there with the young people on the sidelines. Here, hold this for me. While during the timeout, they get to spin the ball on their finger there a little bit, the little kids on the sideline. I like it. Good on Danny Patterson. Terrible passer of the ball, though. Glad he's a referee and not a player.
Well, that's why he's wearing the gray and red and not the all gray or the all blue.
I think maybe he thought Ryan Lutz was going back door, maybe, for the lob.
I think I saw them drawing that up in the
hallway
prior to. Well, the referees, tough job, but doing a pretty good job here this evening in this one with 2:13 to go in the half.
And good fellas.
47-37, that ball goes out of bounds as it gets a little disjointed here in the last couple of minutes.
Corey gave himself a slap there. That's a tough pass for Patillo to catch at the knees.
Stick around at the end of the half. I will be speaking with the coach of the trailing team, and at this particular juncture, that would appear to be Nelson Taroba from the Riptide. We'll speak to him as quickly as we can at the end of this half. Anthony Anderson looking for somewhere to go, sees the opening off the front of the rim, and Otieno tried to tap it ahead to himself, but Anthony Anderson, hustle play, gets back and gets the ball. Gets it right back. Pass from Thomas, good ball movement. Corey steps out of bounds. First time we've seen it tonight. We saw it a few times last night, Dave.
Those big shoes and the big heels from the pro guys. A ridiculous amount of times that happens, and Corey's shaking his head going, gosh, it's 2 in a row. But good hustle by AA. Out racing Kenny Otieno, but he's, again, struggling from the field a little bit, is the vet.
10-point lead, 47-37, 1:37 left in the half. Wormley gives it off to Bowdry, penetrates in, and an elbow right up into the face of Brent Jennings, and he was hurt for a moment, but then when he realized he got the call, he pounded the chest, and he felt better pretty quick.
He sold it. He found the recovery pretty quick. Must be all that work with the
Rehab one. No question about it.
Quick recovery, even on the elbow to the face.
Under a minute and a half left. Here is Brent Jennings, who just took that shot to the mug. Corey Allman trying to find somewhere to go. Morty D's up on him. Patillo trying to look for a little area to step back. Takes it in strong baseline instead, and good defense there from Gord, and Bowdry didn't
really
allow
well
Patillo to have his way.
Bowdry did such a good job rotating it over, making it even tougher, and yeah, Taekwon Gord kept him in front of him, and just seems to be a little better matchup, does Taekwon, than Ali Ahmed down there. A little more athletic, can get up a little bit with him better.
And miscommunication there as the two guys who just stopped Patillo defensively, Bowdry and Gord, were a miscommunication on the offensive end as the ball goes out of bounds.
And Coach Leno uses his last time out. And while we're talking about Rehab 1, shout out to Mr. John Gonzalez, who's a big supporter of the team in general, not just his role in the team, but the team in general. He's always really supportive of you and I on social media and stuff too, shouting out. Thinks if ever I need an ego boost, I go to John Gonzalez and say, John, I'm not feeling well today. And he tells me how terrific I am. He might not be right, but I love it anyway.
Well, he does so much work with teams and athletes, and some of the athletes and teams that he does work with are in attendance here tonight. Members of the Moncton Mustangs football team that play in the Maritime Football League, the 14 league. Once upon a time, my nephew, who was a two-time All-Canadian with the Acadia Axemen and a Loney Bowl champion, played in the Maritime Football League. But there's a bunch of the guys here in the section up behind us, and they got some noisemakers, Dave, and they are making their presence felt. So good on them.
Noise again. And one more item about our referees before we hopefully move on again from them for the night, because they don't like the attention. Interesting spelling on Brent Stocker's name. And we worry about Brent's public image here a little bit. His spelling is Stocker, not stalker as in, the crime. So poor Brent, I feel bad for him. Every time I look online, there he is, Brent Stalker.
Well, now I won't have to worry so much when he comes over by the broadcast table.
Exactly.
So we'll reset for you here. 1:05 left to play in the second quarter. We've been stuck on 47-37, it seems like, for the last 5 minutes, as the scoring has gone a tiny bit dry here. But again,
these defenses, there's going to be those stretches.
10-point lead for the Magic. Under a minute now. Terry Thomas not in any hurry at all. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Terry will make his move now as Patillo ran the little screen. There's Terry, head down, steps back, baseline, shot up, no good. And Wormley grabs the rebound.
Great D there by Taekwon Gord, big guy. Cutting off Terry Thomas.
Riptide now looking to get it underneath 10. Inside to Gord. Nice look. Count the basket and the one as he'll go to the line.
Thread the needle. Horace Wormley.
Great pass inside from Horace. And the recipient was Taekwon Gord. He put the bucket in, got the hack. And the Herm goes to the line. He'll try to complete the three-point play.
Gord was the only man on the bench to get any points on the board last night. And there's going to be a tie-up, and it's going to stay with St. John.
Jennings was down on the floor, had that ball in his hands, and there was indeed a tie-up, so possession error with the Riptide, and Coach Nelson Taroba wants to talk it over. He sees an opportunity here for a bit of a swing.
He does, yeah. We talked about how if they get it back to single digits here with Merrick Isom having put in basically no time on the floor and getting 3 fouls and having a tough start and the turnovers, that would be something to build on in the second half, and they can get a score here late, make this game a 6 or 5 point game. That'll be something to get in the Magic heads here as they go into the break.
47-39, Moncton Magic lead. Duncan, the Magic mascot, lofts some swag up into the crowd. A nice crowd on hand here. Sometimes it's hard to tell because they've got the upper bowl open and the fans are spread around the entire building. The majority of the fans actually sit behind our broadcast position, and because of the configuration of the building, that's the side that the cameras have to be on. so you don't always get a true representation of the crowd in attendance here.
Very true.
But for a Monday night, a work week, a school week, a very nice crowd on hand here at the Coliseum to support the Moncton Magic. And what they've seen so far has been a good effort from both teams. And right now the Magic with a 47-39 lead. But Coach Turoba called the timeout here. Riptide will have possession and a chance to cut into that lead just a little more. See what Coach Turoba has drawn up here.
And you got to think it's going to be something involving Malcolm Miller, the job he's done.
So they've got to get it inbounds. They bounce it to Gord. Thomas on him. Gord, baseline, zips it out there. Intercepted by Jennings. They tried to get it to Otieno. Allman scoops it back to Anthony. Thought about the shot, thought better of it.
Smart play by him, yeah.
Shot clock, game clock, pretty much the same.
A 3 without rebounders a little bit. And instead of that, back it out and get 1.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Thomas from the corner. Shot's no good. Couple of seconds here. They've got time. Look at Wormley. Puts it up at the buzzer. Rolls around almost. That would have been exciting for the Riptide. But a very good quarter from both teams. Offense, certainly that clamp down defense that we've seen. You add it all up, it's a 47-39 lead for the home side Moncton Magic here in Game 2. I'm going to step aside, go grab Coach Turoba, and be right back to get the thoughts from the coach. Here with St. John Riptide head coach Nelson Turoba. Coach, 47-39, you're trailing, but I thought a much better half for you guys tonight compared to the opening last night. Mo Isom had to go out early with the 3 fouls, but a lot of guys like Jeremiah Morty, Ali Ahmed stepped up. What was the key for you guys in that half?
Yeah, I think just sharing the load, sharing the workload as far as making sure that we move the ball, make the easy pass, hit singles, not home runs. I think defensively we were good. I think Moncton started out really, really hot and did a nice job early on getting good shots. I think our guys settled in defensively, and then I think offensively, we played out of played out of the post, played out of things, and just let the game dictate what makes our decisions instead of predetermining our actions. I think that's been good.
Of course, the second half, you would expect the defense to continue. What's your message going to be to your guys to deal with that Moncton defense?
Again, it's just we got to move players, we got to move bodies, we got to move the ball. We've got to keep taking the opportunities that they give us. They're very good. So when you get an opportunity, you got to take advantage of it.
Coach Turoba, we appreciate your time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Coach Nelson Turoba. His team trails 47-39. Second half coming your way in just about 12 minutes.
Rolling.
With Moncton Magic assistant coach Mitch Rowley. And Mitch, such a tight defensive matchup. We knew it would be. Sometimes coaches' words can do a lot in helping a team deal with certain things, and in this particular case, the strong defense of the Riptide. What was Coach Salerno's message to the guys at the half with the 47-39 lead?
I mean, we just need to keep locking up defensively, and our defense is going to go into our offense. That's what our best is when we're in transition. So we just want to keep pushing the ball and trying to get good looks.
Final thing I'll ask before I let you get back to the bench, but Dave and I have commented on the broadcast how much more animated Juan Patillo seems to be. He seems to be much more demonstrative and comfortable. Are you noticing that on the bench as well?
Sometimes he's got a pretty lackadaisical energy to him, but when you can get him going, he's tough to guard.
Well, listen, Mitch, I know that you would probably rather get a tooth pulled than do this, but we certainly appreciate your time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
That's Mitch Rowley. He's assistant coach with the Magic. They've got work to do. They're up 47-39. Second half just around the corner. Just about set to get the second half underway at the Moncton Coliseum. It's game 2 of this National Basketball League of Canada opening round series between the provincial rivals, the St. John Riptide, the number 3 seed in the Atlantic Division, taking on the Moncton Magic, the number 2 seed. Moncton winning yesterday afternoon 82-77 to take a 1-game-to-none lead, and they lead after one half in this one 47-39. And David, except for the fact that the Riptide are a little closer at the half, very similar story in the first half tonight that we saw last night.
Yeah, kind of the same feeling, right? It could be a bigger spread, but St. John kept themselves in the game again, getting some stops, but making the three. The three ball was a big factor for them in the first half, and they're going to have to hope some shots go down in the second half here too, because Moncton has the feeling like you just kind of have a feeling like Moncton's going to have a burst at some point and break out with the offensive weapons that they got. They're getting some shots to go down from Corey Allman, and then they go into a tough stretch. AA hasn't broken out yet. Juan Patillo's getting what he wants down low. Terry hasn't quite, gotten isn't as efficient as Terry usually is. He's getting his points, but you got to feel like they're going to put it together and have a breakout half here at some point. So St. John's got to stop playing with fire here and getting some shots to go down themselves.
So Mo Isom with his 3 fouls. He didn't see much action in the latter stage of that first half. He's on the floor to start the second half here for the Riptide. But the Magic have the ball to start this second half. Terry Thomas doing what he does, taking it in strong, and Terry, good start to the second half of the Magic.
You can't let Terry get to his right hand. Said it over and over again. He gets there. Even if you body up on him, he's too strong and too athletic. He can finish over you.
Riptide with Wormley. They're wearing the dark blue with white and gold trim, now going left to right on your screen as Isom steps back from about 14 feet off the rim. Rebounded by the Magic. They're wearing their home grays with the white and black trim going right to left in this second half.
It's got to be tough for Isom too. Sat so much of that first half. Gets a chance here, but a little bit cold sitting for so long. Getting out here for the second half, expected to go to work.
Corey Allman had a good shooting half. Gets it outside to Brent Jennings, trying to get that southpaw stroke working. No good there. And back the other way, Wormley with some speed, cuts across the middle of the lane. Horace takes it back out high. Ahmed right back to Horace Wormley. In a crowd, over into the corner. Shot there, and it's good as Jeremiah Morty, still good from outside.
Morty again. He even took a shot on the wrist there, looked like from Jennings, and still made it. He's got the dead eye tonight.
7-point advantage here for the Magic, just underway in this third quarter. Morty now out defensively. Big screen there, almost a pick really, as Patillo just blocked Morty in the finish at the rim. Patillo, so dangerous underneath the bucket.
And how about that movement from Patillo? Sets the crushing screen, and he's the first guy back to the rim to finish. Well done.
Wormley slows it down just a little bit now. The defense chant rising here from the Coliseum crowd. That's tapped away. There's that interior defense from the Magic again. Up for Corey. Tried to fake the shot, steps inside, kicks it to the corner. Terry puts it up. Terry bounces it off the rim. Thomas no good there. And here come the Riptide. Morty's got the ball.
I think Corey gave up a good 2 for a tough 3.
Jeremiah Morty leaning in, trying to draw the foul perhaps, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2, as he does indeed draw the foul with that action in toward the basket.
That is a tough, tough call. That's 2 times now. Magic have been victimized by Jeremiah Morty throwing his body in to a retreating Magic player, basically trying to get out of the way and earning himself a trip to the line. That's a tough, tough call.
Coach Salerno trying to get the attention of Anthony Anderson, and he finally does, and Morty bangs it in on the first attempt. Coach Salerno now calling out instructions to Brent Jennings, calling out BJ, making sure he knows what Jennings needs to do here. Morty with the second. And he hits. That will make it 51-44. 7-point lead for Moncton. Anderson over the timeline now. He'll get it off to Terry Thomas. Malcolm Miller guarding him. Terry swats away the arm of Malcolm Miller. Thomas surveying the floor. Gets it over to his left to Corey Allman, now down deep into the corner. Brent Jennings dribble penetrates in against Isom, puts it up and in, slaps the bicep, and that's got to feel good for Brent Jennings.
That's a couple of tough finishes he's had.
And speaking of tough finish, Malcolm Miller flies in and spins through the paint.
And a smart foul there by AA, and you got to give, that's a playoff foul right there. You got to give it to him hard. Make sure he doesn't get up on the glass, because we all know how dangerous Malcolm Miller is, and he's been terrific here so far tonight.
Miller at the line. Looking to hit a couple here for the Riptide. Riptide hanging around. much as they did last night. They haven't gotten as far behind as they did last night, but they have basically trailed for the entire game day. But the thing is, they're dangerous, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
They just hang around. They kind of, lurk in the shadows, and then they'll come at you with a run.
And the last time they won in this building, the last time they played 2 games ago in this building, Malcolm Miller erupted. He was basically the only offense for St. John, and he's being ultra efficient tonight. He's made 4 to 5, but that's not enough shots for a guy like Malcolm Miller. They got to get him more opportunities, get him a chance to dominate like he did that night.
5 on the shot clock. Anthony leans back. Anthony's going to draw the foul on that penetration, and that's going to be on Horace Wormley.
And that's that type of stuff the NCAA traditionally do so well, but he just hasn't had that feel the last 5, 6, going on 10 games now. Just hasn't had that efficiency that we're used to, but I mean that sort of thing can come together at any time for a guy like AA. We know that.
Well, you don't get to be the leading scorer in a professional league by not being able to light it up offensively from time to time, and he hits that one. Al Stewart. Anthony Anderson rolls that one around.
And he's missed some free throws lately too. He hasn't been his normal, automatic self from there too. So just kind of scuffling a little bit there, but where he's not scuffling is his playmaking and this end of the floor, the defensive end of the floor. Has been terrific.
Miller, little kick to Isom from the baseline. Smooth jumper there from the big man, Mo Isom. Riptide could use a little more of that from 32 in blue.
Yeah, and just like last night, suddenly you look up and it's a 6-point game.
Jennings takes it in strong, trying to repeat what he did a minute ago. Looks like he'll go to the line again.
And it doesn't feel like the Magic are playing particularly poorly or anything like that. It's just what St. John does. They just kind of, it's death by 1,000 cuts with them. They just work on every possession.
Corey Almond from about 22 feet. Corey, he hasn't put anything up from outside the arc, but he has been deadly from that 12 to 18-foot range.
And he shows he can make that shot going left to right, just like right to left, that he's more comfortable with. But when he's feeling it from the range, doesn't matter.
Down into the corner, Isom kicks it back to Wormley as they change positions. Wormley fake the shot. Now he'll take it out a little bit higher on that wing. Lob pass over, and it's intercepted. And here comes Terry Thomas. Boom! Shaka-laka playoff version from Terry Thomas.
The tomahawk from tea time. And that brings the crowd to its feet. And there's always going to be a timeout when tea time goes up and rocks the rim like that.
And is there anybody on this Moncton Magic team that can electrify and get the crowd going more than Terry Thomas?
In my profile I did for him at the website this week, I talked about it. There are so often in this building when there's a timeout called by the opposing team, it's because Terry Thomas has done a tomahawk dunk, a back-breaking 3, a big steal at the end of a shot clock for and to give another guy an opportunity. It's 9 times out of 10 an opposition timeout is something that Terry's done.
Well, Terry had a wide open look for a similar type jam last night, and incredibly uncharacteristically, somehow, someway missed it. And he's a competitor. He's a fiery guy, and he doesn't live in the past. But somewhere in the deep, deep recesses of Terry's mind was that last night, and he erased all of it with that last play right there.
Yeah, a little spread eagle, a little MJ feel to that one.
Feels good for the Moncton Magic faithful when they see 13 heading to the rack with an open look like you saw right there. Lucky 13 tea time with the big energy boosting jam.
And this is where St. John always gets you, because you feel like you go into a timeout like this and you got momentum back. And this is where St. John's so effective too. They just feel, all right, let's get a stop, let's get a hoop, let's play our game, let's be efficient. And they don't get too high, too low. And I think that's a reflection of Coach Taroba's work as well.
Well, I'm going to really, really date myself here in a moment. I'm going to make a comparison. You talk about St. John being able to do that. St. John, the Riptide, they are a reflection of their coach, Nelson Taroba. Very even-keeled, never too high, never too low. He's very calm. He's the Perry Como of coaching.
Perry Como.
Perry Como was a crooner from back in the day.
Get out the bubble machine.
And he was known as Mr. Relaxation. Google it, young people. You'll find out what I'm talking about. But Coach Taroba the Perry Como of the NBL coaches. Calm, cool, collected, and pretty darn smooth.
I don't think that's going to be a Twitter hashtag anytime soon.
It won't be trending is what you're telling me.
I don't think, no. Basketball's Perry, hashtag basketball's Perry Como.
Terry Thomas trying to keep the crowd on its feet. Patillo!
There's
boom,
a rim rocker.
boom, and boom some more, says Juan Patillo.
Juan Patillo hates rims. R.I.P. for that one.
Now it's the Patillo Terry Thomas rim rocking show here at the Coliseum. 60-48. The Magic have extended it to 12 points. Their largest lead in a while, but Horace Wormley steps in and puts a couple on the board as Horace does some of the magical things that he can do for the Riptide.
That's such a tough finish. Little runner, right hand off the wrong foot.
6:30 to go here in the third quarter as Corey
boy.
Allman gets challenged over there and falls down.
That's interesting.
And Terry Thomas comes over and has a little word for Jeremiah Morty, and Corey gets up, got a big grin on his face.
And Corey's a smart guy. He knows that's a foul out of frustration. You almost like that. If you're a shooter like Morty, if you're a shooter like Corey, you think, I got him, I'm in his head. And Jeremiah Morty's lucky. He got away with that. That could have been an unsportsmanlike really easy.
Very much so. Terry Thomas stepped back against Miller. No good. Rebounded by Wormley.
That's a tough shot. Malcolm Miller made it tough. He's such a good defender, does everything well.
Over onto the wing, Morty from the corner. Jeremiah Morty. He's going to become public enemy number one here with the physical play, and now, again, just lighting it up from downtown.
Ripping that mesh. That mesh is still stuck. That's how you know a shot's pure.
Speaking of pure shooters, Corey Allman can do the same thing. Steps inside again, the line, and Corey Allman again livid inside the three-point line tonight, but it's working for him, and it's a 62-53 Magic lead.
And much like on one end, Malcolm Miller has the opportunities. Corey Allman's been so efficient, but only 7 shots. Force feed Corey if I'm the Magic.
Anthony Anderson now into the corner for Brent Jennings. He spins against the defensive ice. A little step back, 7 feet, no good. Horace Wormley gets that rebound. Certainly plays much bigger than his stature would show you. Here's Horace all by himself, coast to coast, Horace Wormley. And if you're the Magic, you can't let that happen. And now Corey Allman comes up limping a little bit as he seems to be favoring that right leg.
I think he just took a knee, I think. I think he's walking it off.
Baseline, Morty is there defensively on Anthony Anderson. As Anthony tried to walk along the baseline, he'll draw the foul and go to the line. Coach Taroba signaling that was a travel, but the referees, no, I think they'll look and acknowledge, but won't change the call.
Again, the unblemished record of referees not changing the calls. We'll let you know, fans, if that ever happens. But yeah, AA's got that rep. You see, he leads the league in number of times per game that opposing coaches do this. He seems to have that rep, but he gets away with it. Because that to me looked like it could have been a call to travel as well. And again, 1 for 2 at the line for AA, not automatic.
5 minutes now to play in this third quarter. 8-point lead for the Magic, 63-55. Here's Wormley stepping way back. Horace off the front of the rim and trying to go up to get the rebound was Anthony, and we'll wait to see what the call is.
Oof. Well, didn't see much on that, but referee Danny Patterson did, and we were probably shielded from it. Looked like a pretty innocuous play, but called for Jason Calise called on the bump there.
First foul on Calise, third team foul for the Magic. Here's Malcolm Miller. Miller takes it inside, goes up against 2 defenders.
Good challenge there by Patillo, making that kiss a little bit tougher.
Anthony now. Anderson has it knocked away, goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Magic. Denzel Taylor checks back into the game. Juan Patillo will come over and take a breather for the Magic.
You see if this series goes on, if Coach Salerno looks to play Denzel Taylor and Patillo together. They've been so effective in separate roles. Offensively one, defensively the other.
Here's Caliste. That rolled around quickly but didn't go down for number 2 in gray, Jason Caliste. Wormley being defended there by Anderson. Over for Isom. He'll just take it over to the wing and hand it off to Malcolm Miller. Miller Takes it inside, tried to cut with it, lost the handle, saved well there, but thrown out of bounds. And it'll be turned over to the Magic.
Yeah, it looked like that might have been St. John ball if Taekwon Gord hadn't tried to save it, but a turnover. Back to the Magic, and still it's hanging around. You look up at the scoreboard, 8, 6, 8, 10, not putting them away are the Magic yet.
Aaron Redpath checks into the game now as Jeremiah Morty heads over to the Riptide bench. We've got 4:05 left in this third quarter. There is Denzel Taylor, who just checked back in. He runs quite a physical screen there. Now it's Terry Thomas. Over to the corner for Williams. He steps back, hand right in his grill. Tip up there. Thomas gets the rebound. Terry Thomas grabs the offensive glass.
Who kept it alive?
It was Denzel who kept it alive, and Terry gets the finish.
Denzel with the cornrows, a different look for him lately. A man of many hairstyles, but one way of playing defense.
Here's Wormley taking it to his left. Underneath there. Good play, good pass, and a bucket underneath from Taekwon Gord.
Yeah, and that was missed rotation there by the Magic. Denzel Taylor went over to cut off the driver, and no rotation back to Taekwon Gordon. If in that situation, you got to let him finish. You've given up a tough play. You got to let him finish. Double A took the foul, and now it's going to be a three-point opportunity for Mr. Gord.
So that's 3 fouls on Anthony. Anderson will head to the bench now. Al Stewart checks back in for the Magic. Gord bumps it up off a couple of sections of the backboard, the rim, but he gets the three-point play. So again, 7 points the lead. Magic just cannot pull away from the Riptide here. This scrappy bunch from St. John hanging around this Moncton Magic team. Magic looking to go up 2-0 in the series. Riptide trying to even it up. And the foul's called on Denzel again, away from the ball as he picks up his third.
Extending that league lead. Once or twice a game at least, and they said on that one that once he made contact, he lifted up, and that's one that they want. They want once you make that contact, you hold your contact, but don't lift him up, and he almost lifted him up off the floor.
Tried to go inside, everybody
Well
getting a hand
there.
off the seam there, and Terry comes down with it for the Magic. Terry Thomas spins around, Malcolm Miller knocked it away, Terry picks it right back up. Under 3 minutes left in this third quarter, 65-58 Magic lead. Ball over now for Denzel Taylor, little handoff to Caliste, and Caliste gets it back to Taylor, and behind the play, Binney goes down heavily as he ran into Denzel Taylor, and Coach Nelson Taroba saying that, Binney is down on the floor because of the contact, but play carries right on. Chairs flying, bodies flying here, and the ball flying into the hands of Denzel Taylor. Al Stewart down to the floor. And that, David, was as frantic a 45 seconds as I've seen it to Coliseum all season.
And Binney was playing possum there a little bit, trying to make it look like he was, and he might have been a little bit dazed off that Denzel Taylor screen. And I think that was a great non-call from the refs, a great non-call. He stuck that. It's a hard screen. It's not an illegal screen. And just because a guy goes down hard doesn't mean it's automatically an offensive foul. I thought that was a great non-call.
So 2:25 left to play here in this third quarter. Magic with the ball. They work it in their half-court offense. Binney up off the floor. He's okay now. Al Stewart takes it in strong, up off the glass.
Oh, nice challenge.
And Gord just got there at the last minute. Al wanted that one. He tried hard, but good defense. Redpath now the other way, steps into an 8-footer, no good. Al with the rebound. Here comes Terry Thomas. Terry steps into a block there from Binney.
A smart play there from Binney, and I've said it before, do not let Terry get to his right hand, and once he does, if you're the only man back, just give him a grab, make him earn it, and that's what Binney did. Smart foul.
Mo Isom now will head to the bench. Kenny Otieno back into the game for the Riptide. Checking in as well, Corey Almond for the Moncton Magic as Terry Thomas will take a breather.
We'll see if they try to run some more stuff through Corey. He's been red hot, but they've been doing a good job limiting his opportunities.
Here he is, tried to feed it inside, went airborne.
Yeah, that was a tough pass.
Tried to dish it to Denzel, but it's turned over. Malcolm Miller, little half Euro step there, kicks it out now to Marvin Binney. Binney looks for somewhere to go, decides to try to take it inside against the defense. Too tough from Jay Will. Up ahead for Caliste, Euro step, up and in, Jason Caliste with the nice finish.
Very pretty, but such good defense. Al Stewart with his hands, making things tough, as they always do for opposing offensive players.
Here they're trying to do it again. Binney, nowhere to go. Now gets it to Malcolm Miller. Bounces it to Otieno. Corey Allman hindering him. Jeremy William now. It's a double team. They get it to Miller in the corner. And Malcolm Miller hits it from the corner for 3.
And he's talking about it too, and he should. That's a tough shot with the hand in his face. Really good defense. Just sometimes a performer like Miller is too much.
Here's Corey Allman now. Floats it up off the rim. Rebound by Denzel Taylor. And it goes out of bounds. And it'll stay. Let's see who they're calling that for.
They're calling a foul on Gord, and I can see his frustration there. That could have easily just been given to the Magic on possession. Just looked like two guys hustling for the ball and picking one guy out. St. John got the tough end of that call.
That's the 3rd foul on Gord, 6th team foul for the Riptide. Stewart gets it to Khalees. Redpath right on top of him. Take it down low. Denzel goes in against Gord. Up. The shot is good from 5 mid-grade. Denzel Taylor.
That's a bonus for Moncton if they can get some offense out of throwing the ball down to Denzel like that. Not his strength, but well done.
Otieno right off the backboard. Didn't get a good look at all on that shot, and the Magic will bring it back up the floor.
A good challenge by J-Will getting to the corner there. And again, Al Stewart just making life miserable for Marvin Binney.
12 seconds on the shot clock, about a 4-second difference between game and shot, so potentially time for the Riptide for one more possession. Al goes behind the back, tried to get that shot up and had it knocked away. 5 seconds now, they gotta be quick. At the buzzer, no good, underneath.
And Al Stewart's pretty upset. Didn't get a foul call there on that 3-pointer. And some gamesmanship from Taekwon Gord coming off the floor, almost walking over Mr. Stewart. But that was in a situation like that, Al Stewart, I think, he doesn't have a reputation for being a knockdown 3-point shooter. In a situation like that, Corey Allman, you might expect to get a call. Al, it's a tough one for him, and he's a diminutive guy, and it's a tough call expecting to get a call shooting over a guy like that with him in your face.
Well, the 3rd quarter comes to a close. The Moncton Magic from the opening tip have led, and they still lead, but the Riptide are keeping it close, 69-61, with 1 quarter of regulation left to come. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley, and our NBL Canada crew, and this is a chance again.
Oh no! And this is you want to see me getting on a friend of mine? Here's a good buddy of mine, Mr. Brennan Belmar, out here.
We mentioned him earlier. He's one of the coaches of the Moncton Hawks. He will run his Tier 1 team. He's got 3 half-court chances for $2,000.
He's going to hear it if he doesn't knock one down from me. Oh!
$2,000.
Too easy. Make him shoot from 3/4 court. It's too easy.
All I gotta say, if I'm a member of the U11 Tier 1 Moncton Hawks, I'm like, Coach, where are we going for supper?
That's how you do that. Who needs 3 shots? Give me 1.
And it was a bank shot at that, Dave.
Where's that in the men's league?
Brennan. And we're gonna have to get a defibrillator for our Kent Wallace. He's gonna have to write a $2,000
Sorry,
check.
Kent. Sorry.
Kent sits to our right, and now he's
Get the man a tissue.
He's getting the bank book. He's getting the checkbook out.
I have to stand up and give my man Brennan a clap there. There we go. There we go.
And listen.
Yes.
Would he ever live it down? Forget the men's league. He's a coach of a bunch of U11 Moncton Hawks. Do you think they would have let him live it down if the coach hadn't hit one of the 3?
Oh, of course not, and nor should they. Well done.
Now, there's no truth to the rumor that the coaches of both teams looking to get a 1-game contract for Brennan Belmar.
You know what, though? The guy still runs the floor. You got in the men's league, you got very few guys with a motor. That man still has a motor. I got to give him respect.
Well, he's got a motor, and he's got $2,000 tax-free. Maybe we should meet him at the pump house later on for a beverage.
We better.
He's buying. Here we are, 4th quarter, Riptide with possession. Malcolm Miller. He's got the ball in his hand, swings it all the way over to Otieno. Allman Dean up on him. Kenny takes it in strong. He'll get the bucket, the hoop, the herm. He'll go to the line, and a chance for the Riptide to close it to within 6.
And how about the minutes from Otieno? How big's he been? You look at the score sheet, and it's 8 points and 3 boards, but in limited minutes, and he hasn't had. He's not a guy you expect to be an engine off the bench, but he's been big, and it's down to 6 again.
So Kenny couldn't complete the three-point play, but still a great move just to get that bucket. Magic on offense now. Corey Allman just sees the opening, takes the shot. Corey has been money from all over the floor tonight.
Force feed him. Force feed Corey. Shoot till you make, shoot till you miss.
Hashtag playoff mode activated for number 3 in gray, Corey Allman. Malcolm Miller, he's been good for the Riptide tonight. Puts it on the floor, penetrates inside, steps over to his right, gets the bucket, but I think they're going to wave it off.
Nope. They're calling it. They're counting it.
So they are going to count it, and they're going to give the foul to Denzel Taylor.
Wow. That is tough.
And that is 4 on Denzel, and just to our left, we can hear
that is tough.
Loosely quoted Coach Salerno asking the referees to be consistent. And Miller completes it, and all of a sudden we are down to a 5-point game, 71-66. Al Stewart now goes behind the back. Taquan Gord right on him. Al leads in. Tap back by Denzel. Taylor with the nice putback for the deuce.
Just so tough to keep out of the lane off the boards. He's a menace.
Binney now. Al trying to handle him from behind. Over into the corner. Morty back into the game. Couldn't find the range there, but the long rebound goes right back to the Riptide. Marvin Binney leans in, gets the bucket, and Coach Tarova pumps the fist. He likes what he's seen from the Riptide.
He was calling for another and one on Jeremy Williams there.
Khalees steps back. He gets hacked. Ball's in and out of the cylinder, but he will go to the line to shoot.
For a 3, and that almost went in for a 4-point play. Would have brought the Coliseum back to its feet, but I think we're going to see, I mean, this might be exact same score as last night, Scott. You don't even, I mean, this thing is just a mirror image. These teams just go back and forth at each other.
And interesting there, after that foul was called on Otieno, his first, sending Khalees to the line, Taquan Gord immediately called his guys together, and they had a little mini huddle just inside half court.
And this speaks to what a team, what a true team these guys are. If you'd have told me at the 10:25 mark of the fourth quarter that Horace Wormley would be sitting on 0 points, on 0 of 3 from the field, I'd have said this lead was a big spread in the favor of the Magic. But they just have so many guys that are so tough.
That's 2 for 2 for Jason, the three-point specialist, looking to hit 3 free throws here after he was hacked on the three-point attempt. 75-68, 10:25 to go here in this fourth quarter. Game 2 between the Riptide and the Magic, the battle of the 506. We're glad to have you with us. It's playoff basketball in the NBL, and Khalees ups the free throw average as he goes 3 for 3.
And let me correct myself. As soon as I said it out loud, I knew it was wrong because he'd scored in this quarter. It hadn't updated the score sheet here in a while on my phone. But yeah, he's still 2 for 7 for 4 is Horace here deep in the fourth quarter. So still yeoman's work.
And there's Binney again, active as he takes it into the lane. And right now, Binney frustrating the Moncton defense just a little.
Well, they're getting those calls consistently. The refs have shown they're going to give St. John that call. Moncton giving ground, hands up, and they're going to give that call if they get into the body, and that's 3 calls now. The first 2 were really good work by. I guess it was who was it that went in there earlier was getting those calls? Jeremiah Morty, and now it's Marvin Binney on the trip to the line. So it's just a tough call for a defender with you giving ground like that and still getting called for the foul.
That foul on Jeremy Williams, his second, and Binney with the good trip, 2 for 2. 6-point game, 76-60. Moncton Magic wanting to go to 2-0 and taking a 2-0 lead to St. John. The Riptide want to go back home, even up. Look at Denzel spinning in the lane. Shot's no good. Tapped away. Here's Jay Will. Little put up. And Jeremy Williams with the bucket for the Magic.
And Al Stewart not giving up. Getting his hands in there. Knocking it free from Malcolm Miller.
Morty trying to find some room. He's bottled up in the corner. Gets it to Gord. Now they'll kick it up high to Binney. Binney takes it in against Al Stewart. Now he's going to double team on him. And he's going to say...
Really good call, yeah. Hesitation dribble, picked it up and palmed it.
And they called that right away as soon as he made the move. So that ball gets turned over, and with that, Vinny will go to the bench. Horace Wormley back onto the floor.
Vinny gave him good minutes too, giving Horace Wormley a chance to rest, and you'll see him play the entire fourth quarter thanks to the minutes that Vinny gave him.
Jeremy Williams now to Caliste. On that far wing, Otieno guarding him. Bounces it to Allman. Morty into the air. Jeremy Williams takes it in. Spins on that pivot foot, kicks it back outside to Caliste. 5 on the shot clock. Here's Al putting it up from way downtown. That would have sent the crowd into a frenzy had he hit it.
Oh, lucky break there for the Magic, and Al, he's frustrated. He felt that was in.
I think that's as deep an attempt that I've seen Al make all season.
Yeah, he's not automatic from that distance. But Al's kind of like, he's kind of like his teammate Terry Thomas. You've had big moments. Terry's big, and so is Al.
Coming up to 3 minutes played here in this fourth quarter. We've got a whistle. And away from the play, looks like it's going to be on Morty.
Yeah, and Morty's a smart guy. He knows if he's in a tough trailing position, he's going to get beat by Corey. He knows how to hook those arms in and hopefully not get caught by the ref. But if he does, it's a calculated risk.
And a little bit of pushing and shoving going on between Denzel Taylor and Tyquane Gord as we wait for the inbound. Some playoff intensity between those two. Corey, corner three, baseline, bangs it off the rim. Gord with the rebound. Here comes Wormley.
Right on line, though.
Wormley gets knocked down and slides across the Coliseum hardwood.
And a good foul there by Al. Not a lot of fouls here for so far in the quarter, and Al's not in foul trouble, only his first.
Just to update that last foul on Morty, that was his third, so Jeremiah with 3 now for the Riptide. Juan Patillo getting ready to check back in here when he gets a chance.
5-second call. You don't see that very often.
Well, and that will drive your coach crazy. I mean, that's one of those turnovers that happens, but in a tight game like this, that's something that you definitely don't want to see happen if you're Coach Garoba.
Denzel Taylor checks out after more good minutes from him, and I dare say we'll see him late in those. Last night, or yesterday afternoon, pardon me, Coach Salerno went to some offensive, defensive substitutions late, getting Denzel on some key defensive possessions. I dare say it may come down to that again this game.
Look at Al, takes it in. Big time size mismatch there as Al took it in against Ali Ahmed.
But that's the call that the Magic have been complaining about at the other end. The Riptide throwing the body into a retreating defender and getting the call. Similar there. Al put his body in to Ali Ahmed.
And Ahmed, I'm not sure, he looks like he took some contact up around the facial area, got his hand up to his right side of his face, but he'll line up there and get ready for these Al Stewart free throws. That's the second foul on Ali Ahmed.
And the hair's looking particularly sideshow bobbish here. My Simpsons reference here in the second half.
Well, I believe that he and Troy Polamalu, both big head and shoulders users, with that nice looking
love the locks.
Lid.
Love it.
Had a chance to talk to Ali before the game. Actually, a very nice young man.
Really nice guy, yeah.
And that's nice for the Magic as Al hits from the line on the back end. Again, the chant of defense coming up here from the Coliseum crowd, getting urged on by the in-house announcer. 9-point lead, and it seems that it's been, David, between 6 and 10-point lead almost since the first 2 minutes of the first quarter.
That was an interesting little pose by Jeremy Williams. Somebody was acting there. Either Rick Isom was acting very well, or Jeremy Williams was acting well, one or the other.
12 seconds on the shot clock. Now here's Ahmed. He lives in the paint, tries to take it in. Williams and Patillo were there. Nothing happened in that time. And look at Caliste with the little spin move as he goes right into Wormley.
Again, though, a calculated risk on that. Smart by Horace Wormley. Step in there. If you take a charge, great. If not, you're stopping the fast break.
That's the third on Horace, and he's saying, on me? Really?
Weren't really set there, Horace. Weren't really quite fully set.
He's a lot of fun to watch. Horace Wormley, we got great seats here courtside. He's just a fun player to watch. And that is fun. Corey Allman, and he looks to the bench and says, hey, that's what I do.
Force feed him. Keep doing it. Give that man as many shots as he wants.
Horace trying to make his way into the bucket. He gets a second opportunity. Horace Wormley in against much bigger players, but you cannot discount the size of the heart in number 4, Horace Wormley.
No one's got a bigger one than Horace Wormley.
81-72. Caliste goes right into the chest of Otieno, and then Patillo runs the screen, gets it on the bounce pass, but it's turned over, and here comes Kenny Otieno. Right back the other way. Morty thought about the shot, takes it strong baseline, kicks it to the corner. Here is Horace. Little step into the lane, and again, Horace Wormley right now determined to bring his Riptide closer to the Magic.
Gorgeous finish and a tough one from Horace again. He kind of fits and squeezes in those places, and I think it's kind of awkward for guys that are that much bigger than him. They kind of expect to be able to just step up and block the shot, but he gets that shot off so quick.
81-74. Anthony Anderson checking into the game for Jason Caliste, and it's playoff time. I don't think Jason was overly thrilled to be heading over to the bench.
Hopefully the mics didn't catch that, or we're on a 5-second delay. Mr. Caliste not pleased coming off the floor.
Well, there may have been an expletive or two coming out of the oral area of Mr. Caliste.
Nothing we haven't heard before.
Here's Wormley. Look at Wormley now turning the tables on Al Stewart with the defense from 4 in blue. Usually it's Al picking the pocket. That time it was Horace Wormley.
Yeah, and Horace turning up his game a little bit here in this fourth quarter. I said he's been shut down for large stretches of the game, but all of a sudden you look up and he's threatening a triple-double here. We got a triple-double watch on for Mr. Wormley. 9 points, 8 boards, 6 assists for him.
So that's the third foul on Al Stewart. He's going to put Horace Wormley on the line. And he gets the first. Back now to a 5-point game. This is as close as the Riptide have been all game long since the early stages of that first quarter.
Double A back in. We'll see who the closing time minutes are going to go to. And I was just going to say, tea time is going to be pretty soon, and here it is.
So Terry Thomas checks back into the game.
And Al Stewart we may very well see again at the end towards the end of the game, offensive, defensive as well.
So Stewart wipes the sweat off of his brow, heads to the bench. 7:22 left to go in the fourth quarter. 4-point advantage for the Magic. This is as close as the Riptide have been since very early in this game. Terry Thomas, Otieno watching him. Terry, 6 on the shot clock, steps back against Ahmed.
That's
and
pretty.
Terry Thomas, pretty indeed, from 13 feet. 13 is lucky.
That little inside-out dribble he does to get guys off balance before he goes to that fadeaway is beautiful.
Horace again leaning in, gets the bucket and the foul, and once again, Horace Wormley is driving the Magic absolutely bonkers.
And he's doing it off that screen and roll. He's as good as there is in the league off that screen and roll. And you see how he threw in a little wrinkle there where he curled around that screen and then held up and kept the guy on his back and was able to explode to the rim. And Juan Patillo took it on the chest.
And just in front of us, to my left, Coach Joe Salerno talking over that last play with referee Dan Patterson, and credit to Dan Patterson. He's given a pretty detailed explanation of why the call was made.
Yeah, and Coach Salerno talked before the game. All he wants from a referee is a guy that'll communicate. And Danny's doing a good job coming over and listening to the explanation and going right back at him with his own.
And Dave, when was the last time this game was at a one-possession game? That's where it is right now as Terry bulls his way in, lost the handle. Patillo was there, had it stripped away, as Ali Ahmed was there defensively, and now it's Ahmed questioning the referee, Dan Patterson.
Yeah, and both coaches are wondering what's going on there. And Kenny Otieno was locked in a struggle with Juan Patillo.
So the foul goes on Ali Ahmed. That's the third on Ali. And Jeremiah Morty gets called over to the bench. He'll be subbed out for Malcolm Miller.
And the Magic are in a situation here where the next foul, St. John is shooting for the rest of this game on every foul. And that's going to be big. And we haven't talked about it much, but St. John, the second best free throw shooting team in the league, that might become a factor.
9 seconds on the shot clock now. This is Corey Allman. Uses Patillo as a screen, trying to get it out somewhere. He gets it to Terry Thomas. Terry, the running back, puts it in the floater. Terry Thomas, a.k.a. Le'Veon Bell, hard into the paint, and back the other way, Malcolm Miller, and Terry gets back defensively to hack him over the back.
Yeah, and that's tough. That's you got to get back. I mean, that's inexcusable off a made basket, a run out like that. If Magic got to communicate better. If Malcolm is Terry's man and he's the guy finishing at the rim, somebody's got to account for him, get back, and there was no accounting for Malcolm Miller in transition.
So Miller from the line hits the first, and 85-81.
And because they're going to the line here, the points are coming so much easier for St. John. That's 2 tough ones late in the clock that they've relied on Terry Thomas for here late. And he stepped up and made them, but easier points at the line here for St. John of late.
Strap in, folks. The final 6:16 is going to be electrifying. You just have that feeling it's going to come down to a last possession here between these two rivals. The battle of the 506 living up to its billing here, 85-81. Magic bring the ball up the floor. It was 82-77 in favor of the Magic last night. And another close one here again as Otieno and Terry Thomas were locked in a struggle there away from the ball.
And it's just telling how none of those, just a cut to the hoop, a cut to the basket, none of them are easy. And Terry Thomas giving a look to referee Ryan Lutz, like, hey, easy on the pass there, bud.
Yeah, I think Lutz handed him the ball. Terry wasn't quite ready. Is Terry ready for this? Front of the iron. Ahmed skies in, gets the rebound, warmly up the floor. Here he comes again. Horace kicks to the corner. Miller up high to Isom. And that shot off the line. I think Isom said he was hacked, but the shot nowhere near the goal.
Nah, he's just frustrated a little bit. I don't think he necessarily thought it was a hack. It's a tough spot for him. He was cold through that whole first half with foul trouble and hasn't quite found a rhythm. And he was great yesterday in game 1. 19 in that game for Isom.
So I think everybody off the bench, they were looking up at the clock going, hey, isn't this where usually the media timeout is? And they were right. So it is indeed a media timeout. 5:52 left to go in this fourth quarter. And I will say in regulation, because the way this game is played out, it would not at all be shocking to see these two teams go into a little extra basketball into OT as the dance cam in full effect here at the Moncton Coliseum. 85-81, Moncton Magic leading here. St. John outscoring the Magic 20-16 so far in this fourth quarter. Leading scorers for the St. John Riptide, Malcolm Miller with 18, Jeremiah Morty with 17, and Horace Wormley with 14. Those are the only players in double digits for the Riptide. Terry Thomas, a game-high 19 for the Moncton Magic. Corey Almond with 16, and Juan Patillo with 15.
And you look at the stats here a little bit, and for team-wise, and it just kind of goes to show, just St. John just stays. Stats don't matter, shooting percentages don't matter. They just throw them out. When St. John just finds a way to keep and scrap and stay in games. So they turned it over 20 more times tonight. They're losing the points off a turnover battle. They've given up 13 offensive boards to the Magic, which usually spells doom against this team because the Moncton Magic are so used to taking advantage of that, of their second chance opportunities on that end. But Riptide just staying in it. They're shooting a very good number, almost 50% on the night now, and they made well over 50% of their threes, 10 in total. So they've just scrapped and battled and stayed in the game and got contributions from guys like Kenny Otieno that don't usually give them these big minutes, but they've gotten them tonight.
So we are just about ready here to get action back underway. Magic back out onto the floor. There you see the St. John Riptide huddle with Coach Nelson Taroba. He's had his say. Coach Joe Salerno has had his say. And we've got 5:52 left on the clock. The Riptide hanging around, down by 4. The Magic have led wire to wire here. But the next 5:52 will tell the tale in this one. Will it be a 2-0 Moncton Magic series lead, or will we go to Harbor Station tied 1-1 for the next game on Thursday?
And it's interesting that Jeremiah Morty hasn't shown back up in this game. Coach Taroba's sticking with Kenny Otieno. Otieno's gave him some great minutes, but Morty's been so good. Got to figure he's going to come back to him late here at some point.
Terry Thomas, little bounce pass to Patillo. Smooth jump shot up and Juan Patillo. I marvel at watching him shoot the ball each and every time.
That's a biggie.
So smooth, the big rainbow arc on it, and successful there with the bucket. Ali Ahmed now against Patillo, zips it over there, went off the derriere of a Magic player, and it's turned over to Moncton.
Nobody was looking for that pass on either team. Lucky there, a little unlucky for the Riptide, I think. He had Merrick Isom there.
5 minutes left in this fourth quarter. Corey Allman with the ball just inside half court, trying to find somewhere to go, and away from the ball, we've got a call on that far side.
Otieno's doing his best to be tough off those screens and those cuts, but a little too physical. And now here we are, Morty back in.
So Otieno heads to the bench. Ali Ahmed heads to the bench. Morty and Gord back on the floor.
Yeah, and that's a good substitution, I think, for Coach Taroba as well, because Gord's been much better on Juan Patillo than has Ali Ahmed tonight. And Ahmed hasn't had his same strong offensive game as he did last night, only 3 for 12 for 8 points. 8 boards for him, which is a good number, but I think they're looking to shut down Mr. Patillo here late as much as they can.
And free throws, as is always the case in games, and particularly playoff games, take on an even bigger magnification. Good trip there, 89-81. Magic in the lead. Here's Horace Wormley. Bounce pass along the baseline. They kick it out to Mo Isom. He steps in, and Juan Patillo almost swatted that away, and somehow Isom got it up and over top of Juan.
He got a good piece of it, and it still went in. I think that ball was probably going to miss if Patillo didn't get a piece.
Here is Patillo now, Gord guarding him. Juan just puts it into the midsection of Terry Thomas. Uses Juan as a screen. Terry lost it, and Miller will bring it up the floor. Now it's time for the Riptide to make a run. Looked like the Magic might pull away, but now the Riptide looking to bring it back a little closer. Morty, he's been money from there, couldn't hit that one. And Al Stewart waiting right underneath the cylinder, gets the rebound for the Magic.
Good close out there by Corey Allman, though.
Inside Patillo in a crowd, had it swatted away, somehow gets it back. Juan Patillo, great job just to keep that ball alive. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Anthony Anderson now trying to figure out what to do with it. Patillo, 17-foot jump shot. There he is again, like butter.
Huge one. Good decision, too. He could have kicked it to the corner, made that ball fake to Corey Allman, and having that presence of Corey in the corner gave Juan a wide open one, and he was money.
91-83. Both teams surpassing their point totals from last night. Quick little dish to Morty. Floater no good. Anderson with the rebound. Here come the Magic again now as they have a chance to extend the lead back to double digits once again. 3:15 left to play.
Double A, such a good job there, sticking his nose in, being tough, emerging from the group.
Both coaches up off their bench. They feel the intensity of this playoff game now as we wind down into the final 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Here's Jennings wide open. Brent Jennings just couldn't get the shot at the buzzer. He's just been a little bit off the mark from outside this evening, has Brent Jennings.
Such a good patient play there by Double A. Down the clock, he knew he had time to get the ball there.
And there's Gord, tried to lay it in, hit the floor, ball didn't go to the bottom of the bucket, and the Magic will bring it back the other way.
Well, BJ's been great at that end of the floor. Another good challenge there. Collects the board. Smart play by him to pull back.
Morty. Strong defense there on Anderson. Anderson trying to get someone to go where he wants them to. He'll take it himself. Here's Double A to the left hand.
Oh.
Didn't get the shot, but he'll go to the line. Anthony Anderson, he was pointing out where he wanted his teammates to go. He didn't see what he liked, so he decided to do it himself.
And again, that call that they've been getting, both teams, both ways, creating the contact yourself, throwing your body in there. So again, we're going to see some of this offensive, defensive. Denzel Taylor's going to check in.
Juan Patillo takes a seat, as you mentioned. Denzel Taylor back onto the floor, and Anthony Anderson hits the first.
We're going to see this is a little earlier than the typical offensive defensive subs happen, but Denzel, you don't have a fear about it because he's doing a good job on the offensive end tonight as well, setting screens and creating opportunities. 2
big makes there from Anderson, extends the lead back to 10, and again Wormley taking it inside, and Horace Wormley, he has forced the Moncton Magic to do what they've been doing, and that is to close space on him and either let him get to the basket or foul him. And Horace Wormley, in my estimation, this is the best game he's played against Moncton in the last couple here at the Coliseum.
Well, it's a tremendous fourth quarter by him. He was struggling coming into it, but he's been just tremendous here in the quarter. And again, the triple-double watch he hasn't gotten the assist tonight, but that's been because he's been able to create that offense for himself. You're right, Scott. Using that screen and roll action, getting in the lane and attracting contact. And he's just so, sometimes we talked about it, it's just guarding a guy that small when you got those big bodies. It's awkward for those bigger guys. They don't know when to challenge, and he uses that hesitation and gets into the body of the bigger guy and creates the contact.
So down this end of the floor, we see Taylor out, Patillo back in as they go back and forth like a turnstile, one out, the other in, and then they switch it back up.
Now St. John's going to need some stops. We talked about how great their defense has been all year. They haven't gotten stops, but there's one.
And Horace Wormley, he has decided that he is going to take the St. John Riptide, put them on his diminutive shoulders, and the native of Pasadena, California. Is California dreaming of a comeback here as he's trying to just drag his teammates along with him. 2:02 left to play in the quarter. Here's Miller. No good. Rebound chance. Gord skied in to try to get it, but it was no good. And Anthony Anderson with the big defensive rebound for the Magic.
Juan Patillo so far up there, he almost dunked it into a St. John's hoop.
93-85, 8-point lead here. A huge game. Will the Riptide go home 1-1 or down 0-2? Corey Allman from well downtown. That was from his hometown in Maryland, but couldn't quite get it to go.
Taekwon Gord found him in a matchup with AA and didn't use it. AA didn't.
Warmly spin move, tried to bounce it inside. Good defense underneath. Corey Allman, great job by Corey.
Play by Corey. Stepping in there. Read it like a book, that play.
1:17, make it 1:15 now left. Here's Wormley again, D'ing up on Anthony Anderson. It's Patillo. No rush at all for the Moncton Magic. They just want to take time off the clock. Here's Corey. Allman into the paint. Dips it up to Patillo. Juan Patillo says, hey, Rib, meet my jam.
Juan Patillo hates rims. Huge one, and Corey Allman strutting on the dime, loving life.
Exactly 60 seconds left, a 10-point lead in the world of sports. Anything can happen, but right now, this game is in the hands of the Moncton Magic. It is all up to them. They have an opportunity with 60 seconds on the clock and a 10-point lead to go to Harbor Station in St. John, where they have yet to win this season, but they could be going up 2-0 in the best of 5.
We're going to have a conversation about player of the game now. I'm usually not this flummoxed by my player of the game pick. We could go back-to-back with Juan Patillo very easily. We could go Terry Thomas very easily. We could also, after that pass particularly, we could go Corey Allman. Those are the three main candidates.
You know what? Points-wise, he's third right now on the team in this game. Terry Thomas and Juan Patillo both with 21. But Corey Allman has had to change up his game a little bit. And by that I mean, typically he's the guy that they set up outside the arc for those big money threes. But that wasn't really available to him tonight, especially early on. So he adjusted his game. And for the longest time, he was living inside from about 12 to 18 feet. And he was hitting almost everything. And that forced the St. John Riptide almost to have to change how they thought about Corey Allman. Plus, on the defensive end, he's made some plays. We saw what he just did there. I think overall, maybe I'm a little biased just because of the game
sold
to play, but
I'm sold.
Going once, going twice, Corey Allman.
Done.
I just think it's been a very
You could have picked any of those three and gone on a rant, and I would have gone sold. So
100%, and that's a testament to the team game that the Magic have played tonight.
That is a travel, how they got away with the guy falling to the floor with the ball.
Wormley leans in, takes the shot. Rebound chance there. Gord hammers it down and rushes right back up the floor. It'll be pressure defense now by the Riptide. Thomas gets through the double team, gets it up to Jeremy. Nice look to Anthony. Good job. Here's Corey wide open for the shot. Corey Allman finally can call back home and say, hey family, how you doing? I'm having a game.
Clinches the player of the game with that one.
He must have heard me. Here's Horace. Certainly, in my opinion, player of the game for the Riptide. Gord with the nice little putback. Perhaps just a little too late. And I don't know if we're getting shots of it at home, but they've got the fat heads of some of the players on the Moncton Magic. Corey Allman and Terry Thomas, big heads down there, haunting my dreams, down to my right.
And Corey, you said you interviewed him before the game, and Corey remarked about his fat head that he thought the look on his face reminded him of what?
I'm not even going to say.
I must have been looking at my coach.
Looking at my
side eye. And Corey waving the crowd to his feet. Didn't really have to. The crowd was getting there on their own, but.
So 24 seconds left in the game. The very boisterous and energetic Coliseum crowd, as you mentioned, all to their feet now. They will I'm sure, carry this one home the final 24 seconds and give a very good cheer and round of applause to this Moncton Magic team and send them on their way with a 2-0 lead to Harbor Station for Thursday night's matchup, Game 3. Terry points at the wrist and says, that's what time it is. It's tea time.
I love it.
Last 20 seconds now inside to Gord. Jennings is there. Gord puts the shot up. He'll draw the foul on from Brent Jennings.
And any fans out there, particularly on the Moncton side, that think, all right, this series done. We've had a good run here. We gotta just win one of our next 3. You don't know what St. John's about, and you need to check yourself right now because we're going back to an arena in which Moncton has not won this year, 0-4 in Harbor Station. We could easily be coming back here for a Game 5 a week from tonight, and if that's the case, anything can happen in a Game 5.
No question about it. A potential Game 5 back here, but
for tonight,
final 10 seconds, crowd to their feet. A crescendo of noise coming up from the fans here at the Moncton Coliseum. The final couple of seconds off the clock, and the Moncton Magic solidify a 99-90 victory. The coaches shake hands, the players shake hands. The Moncton Magic have got a 2-0 series lead in the best-of-5. They'll travel to St. John for a Thursday night matchup at Harbor Station, 7 p.m. for Game 3. So the situation is simple. The Moncton Magic have to win 1 of the next 3. The Riptide have to win 3 in a row.
I don't know if I'm going to review the real Corey or the Corey Fathead, but he'll be joining us in a minute.
You can't go wrong with either. They're both handsome. So on behalf of my broadcast partner, Dave Tingley, I'm Scott Squires. I'll step aside. Dave will have the player of the game interview in just a moment with the aforementioned Corey Allman. Once again, your final score, the Moncton Magic led wire to wire, and they defeat the St. John Riptide 99-90. They'll take a 2-0 series lead into St. John. Again, Game 3 scheduled for 7 o'clock Thursday night. If there's a Game 4, if necessary, Saturday at 7. And should it go to 5 games, it will be back here Monday night, 7 p.m. Again, Scott Squires, thank you for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. And remember, if you can't take part in sport, be a good one anyway. Stand by, fans. Dave Tingley will have our player of the game in just a moment.
I'm joined by the actual Corey Allman, and I'm joined by the fathead Corey Allman here as well. Both are handsome, as you can tell here, fans. And good job by Corey tonight, Corey. So, Corey, it was tough, man. We had a 3-way tie there for player of the game. So talk about how not only you took control of the game at times, but also your partners in crime there, Juan Patillo and Terry, doing work tonight.
I mean, you know, Terry's been great for us all year. I mean, Terry's been leading us all year. I've been out here trying to help him. And, you know, we added Juan. I mean, I think it completed our team.
He's been a different guy these first 2 games. Like, he talked a little bit last night on our post-game interview about how it takes a while to get into a veteran team, to get the feel about, you know, how much to take control of the game and how much to demand the ball. But he was really feeling comfortable. He's looked great these last 2 games.
Yeah, because, I mean, we've been on him. We've been on him, man. We want him here to score that ball in that paint and dominate the paint. So be aggressive.
There's how many guys in this league can guard him down low with his athleticism and quickness? Not very many.
Not many. And with him putting all that pressure down there on the paint, it opens the game up for me and Double A and Terry and Jason Khalil. So
and you open it up for him. That last shot he made, which was huge, he had you in the corner to fake to, and then he popped that shot on his own. So a little bit of different game for you tonight. You've been making threes, 52% clip since you got into the starting lineup halfway through the year. But tonight, you had to step inside that line, take what they gave you. They were giving you a little bit different looks tonight.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I got a real nice pull-up game I work on, and it was just there. It was there tonight. You know, when I come off the pin downs, I had a lot of open room, and I mean that's my shot.
Yeah,
You know, it's
it
either
is,
the three
yeah.
or the pull-up.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it was close. We were debating who the player of the game was, and then you dropped that dime to Juan for that thunder dunk late, and that kind of broke the tie. So talk a little bit about you're going to St. John, and fans, we talked about it a little bit at the end of the game. A lot of momentum, but fans can't sleep on St. John because they got you 4-0 down in Harbor Station this year. What are some of the things? Do you take some confidence down there off these 2 wins?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we do. You know, defensively, and you know, we still got to clean up some stuff. We had some missed defensive assignments. Then offensively, we had some bad possessions. But you know, we still got to look at film and clean that up. And we're gonna try to, you know, for the first time this year, get a win in Harbor Station.
Yeah, maybe watch that pick and roll game of Horace there in the fourth quarter. He kind of started picking you guys apart a little bit. Talk about the toughness of these guys and stepping up in big moments. These guys that are tough for St. John.
Man, that's one. I'll tell you one thing, man. I'm not even thinking offensively. You know, in this series, I got the toughest assignment that I had all year, chasing this guy around. Man, he is so good.
And you guys got a lot of. You can tell there's a respect that goes both ways between him and you guys, and you and him. You guys can tell. You get along so well off the floor, obviously, but on the floor, he's a terror for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that dog mentality. We both respect each other's game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tough, and I like to think that I'm tough too. So. I mean, you know, it's definitely a respect there, but you know, we trying to get a win here, so I got to do everything I can do to slow this dude down.
Yeah, for sure. And the toughness tonight, a little bit more tough for the Moncton Magic tonight. They get the win, 99-90 here in Game 2, take a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. Back at it in Harbor Station. Hopefully not for Game 5 back here Monday night next week, guys. But check them out in Harbor Station. Thanks for Corey for joining us.
Thank you.
Good job as always. Thanks for joining us, Magic TV fans. Have a good one. Thanks, brother. Good job, brother. Have a good one. Good job. We started early. Miscue.